WrestleWar 1990. We're still in the 90s, a little bit into it. The date is February 25th, 1990. This is WrestleWar, like I said. Tagline, Wild Thing. The main event, it's going to be Ric Flair defending the WCW World Heavyweight
Well,
Championship versus
NWA still. NWA
Lex.
title still, but
Yeah, but hey, there's so much WCW signage in here.
yeah,
It's crazy.
they started like actively referring to it as WCW a lot more often now.
Versus the U.S. champion Lex Luger. Yeah, they had 7,894 people in attendance in the Greensboro Coliseum in Greensboro, North Carolina. And yeah, here we go. We're back in WCW era, ages now, or however you want to call it. The beginning of this is absolutely insane. We have the
This like little 90s as fuck rap video.
WrestleWar rap, and what the fuck, Cameron?
Did you write the words down? I just wrote "Holy fuck, this intro is amazing."
I did not know, but
All right,
if
well, it's worth
anybody,
going out of your way to just listen to it.
yep, just literally look up WrestleWar rap on YouTube, and it'll be there. 1990,
Wild
crazy.
thing, man.
Um, Jim Ross and new commentator partner Terry Funk
Yeah.
is now on the call, and by my oh my, is Terry Funk not on the call tonight, man?
Yeah, what a combo this was.
Yeah.
It's weird, like, because last time we watched WCW, Funk was the main heel challenging Flair, who is not a babyface anymore, by the way. And I don't know if you picked up by this. Sting is injured. I don't know if they mentioned this a whole lot. Sting is not competing right now. Sting is hurt.
I feel like they didn't reference it enough, actually. You know, with
Yeah.
all the people wearing Sting on their clothes, and all of the 38 signs in the front row that say "Fuck the Four Horsemen, we love Sting." Uh, but if I'm getting it just by context clues, Sting was kicked out of the Four Horsemen, right?
I believe so, yeah. It was something
And
like that.
they injured him, so
Yeah,
he
I'm pretty
was.
sure he just got like for realsies hurt in like, in real life, and then they were just like, "Hey, let's credit the Four Horsemen with this and have them kill him." And
Yeah,
add some drama, I suppose.
yeah, kill
Give
him.
Sting a fucking made Sting is a made man whenever he comes back. He was a made man on this show.
Yeah. Oof.
Like by
What?
the end of the show, Sting's the number one babyface, and he's not even fucking wrestling. But we'll get there. I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves because we got a long night ahead of us. But
We start out our night with a Teddy Long interview. He's dressed in kind
just
of
dancing
like a
away.
he's dressed, it looks like he's gonna fight. Let me do a quick Google real quick. I'm just curious. In 1990, how old do you think Theodore Long is?
I honestly don't know because he does not look like he ages to me. As a matter of fact, he looks younger now than he does in this match.
Okay,
But go but
I
go
guess
ahead
I
and
can
hit
see
me.
that. He is
It's the hair.
43 years old.
Okay, Jesus. Okay,
Yeah,
I don't mean that to been like, oh man, it's Teddy Long, you old fuck. I
he
love
was
Teddy. He's a great guy.
he was born in 47. Crazy.
Now
47.
this is not dancing Teddy Long. This is Sugar Ray Teddy Long. Now see, he managed to knock out Mike Tyson, who was supposed to be managing the skyscrapers, but now since he beat Mike Tyson, Sugar Ray Teddy Long is here instead. And he wouldn't lie to you. He's
No.
never told a lie in his life.
Yeah, Dan Spivey will not be here. But
He's injured, man. He swears it.
yeah, he has another big surprise for everyone,
Yeah,
including
sure.
myself. Uh,
Kind of. When I saw who was in the Twin Towers, no, sorry, skyscrapers. That's the other show. I was like, oh shit, and then I realized that it's actually the mask guy that's supposed to be the surprise. The other guy is already been established as a skyscraper because I guess Sid's gone.
Yeah, Sid, Dan Spivey are just nowhere to be found.
Yeah, the skyscrapers are an entirely different tag team
I
now.
wrote down later during that match, but I'm just gonna go ahead and say it now. I can't wait for the skyscrapers versus the original skyscrapers at Great American
Yeah,
Bash.
yeah, and Teddy Long will be with the new ones, and we'll have
Yep.
like Paulie Dangerously can be with
The
Mark Callis
original.
and
Yep.
in a mass skyscraper.
Yep.
Yeah, no, yeah, he had to be with the originals. Yeah, you're
Yep.
right, you're
Uh,
right.
but now we go to our first match. It is Buzz Sawyer
Hell
and
yes,
Kevin Sullivan, our goat.
Kevin Sullivan, who is now his hair is like a green bungee cord now.
Yeah, the rat tail's
I
awful.
don't know what's going on.
It's a gross bungee cord rat tail, like you were saying.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
know what the fuck it is.
yeah, I have no clue either. Um, versus the dynamic dudes, regular tag team match. Nothing special about this one. But Cameron, what'd you think?
Well, I'll start off by saying I'm just happy to see Kevin Sullivan, not so much the dynamic dudes, but I was pleasantly surprised by Buzz Sawyer. Not that he was like the best ever or changed my life, but I enjoyed watching him. I enjoyed the Mad Dog thing. But you know how at Halloween Havoc, I wholeheartedly shit on just about every tag match that we had because there were these awkward moments where they'd stop wrestling and they'd stare across the ring at each other and awkwardly get back into a match. They immediately do this in this match, and I think to myself, fuck, here we go. But apparently, this is not a trend that's going to keep going through the rest of the night because they pretty much only do it here and never again. But right away, I really like the demeanor of Buzz Sawyer. I just like the craziness to him. Like he makes a lot of weird sounds when he's moving. Everything he does is like crazy exaggerated. He makes the funniest facial expressions whenever he's doing something, especially if he's hurting somebody or he's even when he's getting hurt, he just laughs at them. I I thought that was like a nice little charm, especially for like an opening tag match. And you're tagged with Kevin Sullivan, so you have to be weird. It definitely makes more sense him tagging with Kevin Sullivan than the Varsity Club, you know.
Yeah. No, I mean I agree. Especially with like you mentioned, like how Kevin Sullivan is as a person. The way Buzz Sawyer looks like he would be a tag team partner of Kevin Sullivan. Um,
Yes, absolutely. He should be tagging with Kevin
yeah,
Sullivan.
like if you were to get everyone in the locker room, line them all up, I would match that's a matching pair right there. Even the name
He's gonna
Buzz
look
Sawyer.
great in that shark cage.
Yeah, for real. Um, dude, Buzz Sawyer was the MVP of this match.
I agree. I
Um,
wholeheartedly agree.
I'm trying to and it the what was I gonna say the dynamic dudes I've never really cared about them or anything. Um, but what's crazy is, in my opinion, and maybe yours too, my favorite people in WCW are mostly the older guys. I don't know how you feel,
Yeah.
but
No, I agree.
yeah, like
Because they're like the established vets who've been doing this for a while, whereas WWE at the moment is like, here's the younger guys that are just fucking big and look great and that we've taught to do pretty simple to pretty good wrestling, but taught to perform. Whereas these guys, they've been wrestling for years and all they care about is wrestling and they love
mhm,
wrestling. So they're really good at it.
yep, like our Flairs, our Sullivans,
Yeah.
our Terry
Yeah.
Funks. I mean they've
Anderson.
Anderson, yeah. I mean, literally, they've all been my favorite, and these guys are all over 40 in the
And
90s.
when we get to the next tag match on this show, them as well.
Oh, yeah. No. I agree. Fantastic that next match.
Yeah, I can't
But yeah,
wait. I'm not gonna let it take away from these two matches because I really enjoyed. I did enjoy this match. It wasn't like my favorite on the show, but I thought this was a great way to start the show.
yeah.
Um,
Some things that
do
I
you
wrote
have
down.
anything to talk about what happened? Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Because
yeah. I'm
I got
sure.
like some notes and stuff written on what happens, but it's not like
Yeah, I'm gonna
You
go
know, do
like
your thing.
into the match a little bit. You just feel free to jump in whenever.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
We get a Buzz Sawyer suplex onto the floor to Shane Douglas. That's
He makes
all.
the greatest stare to the corner, like this deadpan stare when he does it too.
Yeah. Also, we go back into the ring. Kevin Sullivan. Jim Ross reminds me he's a four-time state wrestling champion in high school and college. Uh,
Okay.
Buzz Sawyer then gets tagged back in and does a 20-minute bear hug on Shane Douglas. It feels like 20 minutes. It was not, though.
No, it's not.
Later on in the match, Johnny Ace does get the hot tag, and Shane Douglas, when he gets back up and he's going to go attack Kevin Sullivan, he has the worst drop kick. Does not connect to Kevin Sullivan. Kevin Sullivan doesn't know what to do with himself, so he kind of just goes through the middle rope, but like falls on the apron and just like stands there. I guess he's supposed to be drop kicked outside the ring, but he actually doesn't. Um,
Mm.
Buzz Sawyer goes to the top rope and connects with a jam sandwich.
I can't believe somebody went up top and hit their move. It was
Actually
awesome.
happens, quite frankly, a lot this show. I feel like
It really does.
I don't think I think
we're
everyone was
we're in the
home.
'90s, man. It's a new era.
You know,
It's a new era now, dude.
yeah, you know how they say nobody's home. I think everyone was tonight.
Yeah,
Um,
everyone's home and they're watching WrestleWar.
but yeah, Buzz hits his move, the jam sandwich, apparently. Pins
Awesome.
Johnny
I love
Ace
that.
and Kevin Sullivan and Buzz Sawyer win their first tag team match that we see. They win 1-0. Yeah, though those were most of my
So,
notes on the match. I don't think it was
a few notes I have. Oh,
fairly
good.
that long, right? Maybe less than 10
No,
minutes.
it was just 10. It was 10, 15.
Oh, okay.
So, some notes I have is that I could never stop staring at Sullivan's hair whenever he was in. But there's a point
Awesome.
where Johnny drop kicks Sawyer out of the ring, and he falls so hard on the floor. That dude's nuts. Like he's legitimately a madman. He's a mad dog. And there's a big dive from Johnny that looked really great. Um, let's see what else I had. I love there's a part where Sullivan like runs Johnny to the corner, but Shane runs to the other corner from where he's waiting for the tag and like jumps into the corner, so Johnny kind of bumps into him and it stops the momentum. Cool, I guess. Even though maybe it should have hurt Shane Douglas. It was just something weird I didn't see a lot that I took note of. My next note is there's a part where Sawyer is running from rope to rope, and he's making this sound that just makes me think of Liu Kang doing a bicycle kick in Mortal Kombat. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't know the sound he
Like
makes, but I know the
as he's
sound that
hitting the
Buzz
ropes,
Sawyer
he's just
makes.
like,
So
it was so weird. Let's see. He does the big, suplex on the floor with that deadpan look in his eyes. It's great. He does some really nice suplexes to Douglas. Like they're clean and safe, but yet they look like painful as fuck. Um, Great commentary note here is I wonder if he's had a lobotomy or something. Awesome. That's a really funny note from Jim Ross or Terry. If I don't remember who it was, I watched the show too long ago, so bear with me on my memory. But I thought this was a simple match. It was nothing like too crazy. But Buzz Sawyer looked great to me. I thought the dudes actually looked good too. Is at least as far as like they have been, because they haven't really done much to really stick out to me. Here, I just think they just didn't suck. I thought they at least looked good as far as the wrestling went. And my favorite part of this match is Kevin Sullivan's hair. But overall, like I enjoyed the match. I think it was a pretty good opener. It's what I come to expect from an opener when it comes to NWA, WCW shows.
yeah, I
Like
mean,
some
it's a solid,
not like fast paced, but solid shit. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, solid 2.5 out of 5 star match to start it out. Like it's not bad. It could be better. It could be worse. So um,
Well,
y-
let's go to worse.
yeah. And here's worse. I wish we had a like a button or a siren. We should start adding right before we talk about men sexualizing women in the 90s in a creepy
Okay,
way.
so we did note the same thing, and I see how they're hiding behind like what they're using to disguise it so it doesn't seem as fucking creepy. But this next little interview here looks fucking terrible in 2024. I'm maybe it was fine in 1990. Matter of fact, I'm sure it was. I'm sure they loved it. I'm sure this was funny in 1990, but I didn't like this. This was cringe.
Um, we have Missy Hyatt. You remember when she was first lady of wrestling for like 3 minutes?
Yeah. Yeah, now she's the first lady commentator we've got on WCW.
Missy Hyatt is interviewing the guy who's gonna be in our next match, Norman the Lunatic. You know anything about Norman, Cameron?
I know he's a lunatic.
Yeah. Um,
He'll also be in WWE later on as Bastion Booger. So he's not going to go too far higher than where he's at in NWA, but you know, I'll at least see it out. I'll see what happens.
that's just it's just so weird. Um, Rest in
Yeah.
peace, by the way. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Absolutely. I mean,
basically, sound the alarm. Here's basically what he says. Well, first of all, if you don't know what Norm looks like, and if you're never gonna look up a picture of Norm, imagine a guy in a propeller hat with like these. I think it says like mental patient on the back of these pajama pants that you'd see
yeah.
mental people in an asylum would wear,
Yeah.
who carries around teddy bears.
Because you got to have that detail.
And then
Like his gimmick is so close to what they try to imply Rick Steiner is like.
what were
Rick
they
Steiner just gets to wrestle with his brother.
what were they calling Rick Steiner's left hand? This is Rick Steiner's
Oh,
left hand.
Alex.
Yeah, this is Rick Steiner's left
Yeah,
hand.
yeah. His Alex has grown a body of his own, and his name is Norman the Lunatic.
Um, but yeah, basically he tells Missy that she reminds him of his sister, and she says something like, "Oh, is she pretty?" And she's like, "Oh, I guess, Um, and then he convinces her to give him a hug. She does, and then he's like,
Yep.
"Well, what would really give me good luck is if you give me a kiss." And it's like, Jesus Christ, bro, like
Yeah.
settle
Like
for the
really went
hug.
for it.
And so she gives him a kiss on the cheek, and he's like, "Well, actually, what would give me really good luck is if you give me another one." And he turns his face towards her, and she's like, "Oh, I think I hear the bell ringing. I guess you gotta go." And then
Oh
it
yeah.
cuts away. Thank God she didn't kiss him
Yeah.
on the
What
lips.
the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck was this? Norman
No.
the fucking sexual deviant, bro. God damn.
Yeah, chill, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
someone needs to tell this dude to calm down.
Yeah.
But that brings us to our next match. It's Norman,
Well.
the Sex Panther versus Cactus Jack Manson. Mick Foley's here.
Yeah,
Young
Mick
Mick
Foley's
Foley.
finally made it. Yeah, he's small. He has he still has at least one good hip on him. He doesn't walk with so much of a limp yet. A little bit of one, but not so much of one.
It's crazy. Like, this is 25-year-old Mick Foley. It's crazy. Crazy, crazy,
And
crazy.
his greatest years are yet to come. What a 90s Mick Foley's going to have, man.
And it's crazy that he doesn't even know that yet.
Nah, I
Like,
mean none of them would.
God, imagine you could time travel to right before he goes out to fight Norm, and you're like, man, you're gonna
It's
fall
like, hey
off a
dude,
Hell in a
just
Cell soon.
a what?
Yeah,
Picture the Thunderdome, but not electric, and it has a lid.
and you know that
It sounds
Mark,
terrifying. It is.
you know Mark Callis. um, but yeah,
So
what'd you think about the match?
Norman's billed from the hospital, from a hospital. Like, yikes.
Y- Yeah, yeah, a mental hospital. Yeah,
Yeah, and he no sells headshots. Yeah, I spent the entire match waiting for Jim Ross to give Norman the Lunatic a sports history. I've wanted it so bad.
Yeah, Norman played offensive tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs.
No, for whatever mental hospital football
Oh
team
yeah.
or whatever.
Did you notice that Norman is wearing two shoes?
I I didn't notice that,
Um,
but of course he is.
yeah,
Commit to the bit, I guess.
he was wearing like a regular boot, and then the other one was like what you'd wear if you went to the doctor or the hospital and they gave you shoes. So like it was like flats and a boot. So weird.
Um,
Also, I wrote a funny
Mick
note here.
Foley. Oh, good.
If you
Yeah,
if you squint your eyes hard enough, it kind of looks like Hacksaw versus Akeem.
yeah. You have to squint them pretty hard, man.
Yeah, which honestly, it probably would have made it an even worse match than we had, but
Oh
uh,
yeah, dude. I would much rather watch Norman the Lunatic than Akeem the African Dream, man.
versus Hacksaw and Hacksaw
At least
loses
Norman
the
the
count
Lunatic
out.
has a reason to be as weird as he is. Akeem thinks he's African, and that's his reason for the shit he's doing.
Uh,
I have to mention that for this match, like Foley is bumping his ass off for this dude. Like, he gets thrown over the railing to the concrete at one
mhm,
point.
mhm.
Fucking ow. That running drop kick off of the apron? Holy shit, dude.
It is crazy
And-
how I mean, but that it is crazy like him then and like what he's gonna do later on. Like he seeing that he's always done that shit. It's just fucking crazy. Like I don't care. I'll just put my body on the line, like do whatever. Throw me over the guardrail onto the hard fucking concrete floor. Make me fucking fall off the top rope onto the ground or something like that. It's just crazy.
Yeah, Foley was like, I think he knew that, doing shit like that to himself would be what would get him over because no one's really doing shit like that to themselves at this point. Like, no one's taking those types of falls or those types of beatings. People are, they're they're taking their ass beatings and they're bumping their asses off for people, but no one's doing like falling on the floor like that and shit. And we'll see throughout the years like the stuff Mick Foley's willing to do to get himself, his opponent, his match, his angle and shit like that over. It's it's admirable, I suppose. I mean, you gotta respect it for sure. It's like it's just a shame knowing like the long term damage he's doing to himself now. Like especially in 2024 eyes, and we haven't even watched the Cell yet, or like the I Quit match yet, or the any of that crazy shit.
It
But I
was
mean, for this match, whatever, it's fun. No, good, good. My
and
bad.
it's hard to see someone fight against Mick Foley with worse teeth than Norm. Norm had some pretty bad teeth on him.
And they bring up his teeth, or they bring up Norman's teeth at least.
Yeah.
We get the note that Norman's favorite movie is The Wizard of Oz. Not quite his sports history, but at least it's something.
Dude, and
And
they argued over that because Terry Funk thought he said his favorite move was the Wizard of Oz. And Jim Ross is like, no, you fucking moron. I said his favorite movie is the Wizard of Oz. What move is the Wizard of Oz?
don't call me a moron, you banana nose jerk. And he goes, Jr. goes, I wonder how Norman's cardiovascular condition will play into this match. Like, just call the dude fat. Like, just it's 1990, man. But and Terry Funk's response is, I don't know, but I can see where he's missing his teeth. Cool. That answers that.
Also, there was a bunch of like or Mick Foley was like he kept like ripping and biting at Norman's face.
hmm
Also he tries to do some headbutts on him, which like I mean with a dude that size, I mean you're just like asking for it there. Um, but what'd you think about this finish though?
Let's see. This is where he goes for the pile driver, right? and Norman
Yeah,
just backdrops him and sits down on him.
yeah, and Norman kind of does the thing where it's like, oh, is he gonna fall back on him? Like
Oh
he's kind
yeah,
of stumbling, and then he just sits
and
on
just
his
wait.
face.
Yeah, yep. Like yeah, on his fucking face, and then just pins him. I mean, honestly, it's a nice little match, especially like for a big dude involved. When you see like we keep mentioning Akeem and some of the other like big dudes in WWE that aren't really having matches that are great. Like imagine Akeem going 9.5 minutes on any other WWE show, bro. I'd rip my fucking hair out.
Yeah, where
But
he
not
was
this
in the
time.
ring the
I
whole
thought this was all
time. Yeah.
right. But it could have been just because I was excited to see Mick Foley because like I thought Cactus Jack made Norman look great, but Cactus Jack was great. And I didn't think anything necessarily dragged. I thought the match was pretty fun, given what we had. And if you look past the, touchy, cringy gimmick of Norman the Lunatic and just watch the wrestling match, I guess it wasn't that bad. I didn't hate it.
Yeah, hey, Mick Foley had to make his come up somehow, and if he has to wrestle Norm the Lunatic, then so be it, I guess.
Yeah, it's better than not having Mick Foley. It was awesome having him now.
Yeah, and now we're gonna. Do you know if he shows up a lot in WCW in the early '90s?
I'm not sure when he leaves for ECW. I mean, I know like it's like 96, I believe, is when he shows up in WWE. But I don't know how long he's in. I'm gonna look how long he's in WCW. We get 91 through 94. So he's gonna leave for All Japan in 90 in this year, but he'll be back in 91 through 94, and then yeah, he'll go to Smoky Mountain in 94, and then ECW. Then he'll get to WWE in 96. So that'll be fun to
Yeah, I'm
keep
excited
some
for
track of,
some
I guess.
early ECW.
Oh, dude, we're gonna have to find. I'm gonna have to find some ECW that's like before they started actually doing pay per views and stuff that were just really good events. Like November to Remember '95 is a really good show. But I'll definitely keep track of the ECW stuff for us because I can't wait to mix that in too.
Like Tommy Dreamer, I know he was just fucking awesome. I can't wait, bro. Also, if you were doing what he was doing for all those years, I mean, I don't know what Tommy Dreamer's doing nowadays, but I hope he's just like resting on a bed somewhere.
uh, I think he's like an agent for TNA or something now. I know he was on TNA not that long ago, but I think he's an agent for them now.
Oh, where he gets people to go there, or what do you mean by agent?
Like he works backstage, he helps like write shit or produce matches and helps him put matches together and stuff like that.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Like a role that helps the wrestling, but not a actual wrestling role. Someone you would want somebody with tons of wrestling experience to fill.
Do you know who? Do you know who Tommy Dreamer's wife is?
Beulah McGillicuddy.
Holy shit, that was great by you. That was awesome. Uh, but yeah, Norman wins the match by pinfall, uh, which then sets up a Jim Cornette and Midnight Express interview. Okay, I'm gonna say it. Jim Cornette. I don't know if he's liked a lot nowadays. I fucking love '90s Jim Cornette. I fucking
Yeah,
love early 2000s.
probably one of the best promos. Period, dude.
What was I gonna tell you? I don't know what happened or something, but I was watching this video the other day. It was about one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, Santino Marella. He was screwed over by Jim Cornette one time. I forgot what it was
Oh, at
about.
OVW, because he
Yes.
wouldn't like bump for the Boogeyman or something like that, or
Yes.
he didn't sell fear for the Boogeyman.
Yeah, he didn't like
'Cause
yeah, he didn't flinch or whatever, or like he wasn't scared. Yeah.
yeah, that was when he was pretending to be Russian in OVW. His name was like Boris something before he became Italian and was sent to the main roster. Is
That's
he not
crazy.
also in TNA right now? Like I think he's like an on-air authority figure or something like that.
He is, yeah. I think he's like one of the managers or something like that. He wrestled last year.
TNA looks awesome right now, if I'm being honest.
Did you see the Hardys are back on top there?
They won the tag belts, dude. That's so cool.
In a TLC match, bro.
I really want to know the thought process behind not putting the belt on Joe Hendry. But I mean, I like Nick Nemeth, so I'm fine with it.
Dolph Ziggler.
I do think though, I do think Joe Hendry pops up in the Royal Rumble.
People are saying they both do. Dolph
Possibly.
Ziggler comes back as Nick, and Joe Hendry comes back.
I wouldn't think it'd be out of the realm of possibility that in this like retirement tour of John Cena that somehow he pops up and wins the TNA title, even if it's on a WWE show. Like I don't think it's entirely out of the realm of possibility. It's a long shot and probably won't happen, but I don't think it's entirely impossible to guess that it, to speculate that it could happen.
He should do that.
Like I would take the bet.
Yeah, like he should do that and just lose it to Joe Hendry.
Yeah, or like go wrestle on Bound for Glory and drop it back to whoever their next guy is. Could be Joe Hendry, but I just think it'd be cool. And if John Cena's retirement is going to be big, that's pretty big. That's out there. It probably won't happen, but it's way more possible now than it's ever been.
Yeah, because they go back and forth with each other all the time. Which one last Hardy's run would be awesome. But I think it's that door's closed.
Also, you got to keep in mind that if you say his name, he appears.
Yeah. He hasn't been on in a minute, but dude, he was on for a whole month of NXT shows.
Yeah.
Even wrestled at a pay-per-view, so.
Yeah, he had a takeover show or something. No, it was they don't do takeovers anymore. It was the I don't remember what the hell it was called. It was the big NXT event.
Yeah.
And he wrestled as Ethan Page or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah. But anyway, back in 1990.
Yeah.
It's where some things never change, Landon. Some things never change.
Yeah, Mr. Jim Cornette says that about what, 1,000,000 times in this interview.
But isn't that kind of a cool concept for a promo though? The promo has a recurring theme because this is a tale as old as time, the Rock and Roll Express versus the Midnight Express, because some things never change.
I think my favorite part was when Jim Cornette he looks at Stan Lane and he's like, "What day is it?" And Stan replies, "The day the music died."
The day the music died, dude. This was a great promo.
It is.
I had no idea coming out of it because last time we saw the Midnight Express, they were baby faces.
Mm-hmm.
This whole card has flipped upside down.
Drastically. He's not on the card that I'm pissed off. What the fuck is Ricky Steamboat?
I know, man. I noticed that too. I was like, Ricky Steamboat's not here. Sting's hurt. Great Muda's not here.
Junkyard Dog.
Junkyard Dog is not here. But Ron Simmons and Butch Reed were found, though. They're back.
Yeah, they're bodyguards. But yeah, so this next match, it's the Rock and Roll Express versus the Midnight Express with Jim Cornette. And Cameron, what did you think about this match?
I think this might actually be the best tag match I've ever seen in my fucking life. I said this same thing about Seth and Cody against Roman and Rock back at Mania. But let me explain how they're different, all right? In that tag match, it was 4 of the best in the world who are each having their own singular stories, and they mix at the perfect time and moment to create the show and the emotion and the moment that we had at WrestleMania. This is tag team wrestling, where it's 2 established tag teams with their own established tag moveset, demeanor, roles, chemistry, and god damn, not only do Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson have flawless chemistry together, Bobby Eaton and Stan Lane have flawless chemistry together, and these 2 teams have flawless chemistry together. This match was fucking incredible. And from the jump, I set the bar high because how the fuck can you not with Rock and Roll Express and Midnight Express? But damn, did they not exceed my expectation. I feel like now I know what tag team wrestling actually is. and it's something magical, it's something wonderful, and when it's done correctly, like it was here for 19 minutes and 31 seconds, it is something that is so beautiful to watch, so precious to behold. And another case of, as I'm watching these shows, I become a better wrestler just by watching this. This match was so fucking good, Landon.
Cameron, I'm about to say something, and I want you to listen to me,
Okay.
okay?
All right. All right.
I couldn't agree with you more. This match was amazing.
And you're
I,
now a better wrestler.
yeah, honestly, same. Uh, and I'm just gonna spoil a little bit of the match, not too much. I mean, you have motherfucking Ricky Morton getting his ass beat for
Yeah.
forever. And the hot tag for Robert Gibson at the end, who's just like been over there on the sideline basically most of the whole match. He's getting ready. And there's been countless times where it was like, oh, I'm almost gonna, and then it's like, oh, fuck uh,
Yeah,
the Midnight
they build it so
Express are
well.
just gonna keep kicking his ass. Like I just and like just Jim Cornette just being Jim Cornette the whole time, and it's just
I had no idea, dude. Heel Jim
if
Cornette, fucking perfect.
if I was there in the front row watching this, I could not contain myself during this match. There's zero chance. If I was watching this live in person, I would go insane. This match was amazing.
Yes, I love this so much. There's a great spot at the beginning where like Cornette starts like shoving the ref, and he untucks his shirt and tries to like, he wants to fight the referee. The ref untucks his shirt and gets in his face, and Cornette just fucking bails.
Yeah, they square up with each other. That part is so good. I was hoping they were going to turn it to a 6-man match, and the referee was just going to be called the ref the whole time.
Not even Nick Patrick or whichever ref it was. I think it was Nick Patrick. Like they're doing nothing really crazy, just solid work, and the crowd is just eating this shit up.
And let's be honest. Of course, we know the main event, and it's great. Okay.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like really good. You know what I mean? Like it's
The
really
main
good.
event's awesome.
And even with this being the third match of the night, and that being the main event, it is really hard to pick between the two which one you like better, in my opinion.
Okay. They do that test of strength, and Morton stands on Eaton's shoulders off of that, and axe handles Lane off of his shoulders. That was so cool. And like they do the thing where they do the meeting of the mind, and Jim Cornette gets punched, and Stan Lane runs over and he starts giving fucking chest compressions to try to help him up. It's awesome.
And
Uh,
this right here though is when I noticed the big WCW at the top of the ramp. I don't know if you.
Same, because I put it to I spotted. Oh no, okay. I think I already might have noticed that one. This is where I spotted a banner for the WCW hotline. 1-900-909-9900.
Should
Get
I
your
call
parents'
it?
permission before you call. It's deactivated. And it wasn't even shown. It was blurred out. I just remember it because Attitude Era kid.
No.
And I have like countless WCW pay-per-view tapes and stuff that I used to watch all the time. And there would always be these segments where Mean Gene on the ramp, and he'd bring out some random baby face to talk to him for a little bit, and he'd be like 900 909 9900. Kids, get your parents' permission before you call, because if you don't and you call this number, they're gonna charge your phone bill like you wouldn't fucking believe, and your parents are gonna hate you.
What was it for?
I didn't.
What are you calling the number for?
Just bullshit. Like they would be like a former wrestler for another promotion's unhappy and wants to come to WCW. Find out who we're talking about on the hotline, and they'll be like a guy that was last seen with them is like, yeah, he didn't like working in whatever X and Y show in Japan, so he'll be back. And it's like, dude, this guy was gone for 3 weeks. What the fuck? It was just like it was clickbait before clickbait, pretty much, if that makes sense.
Gotcha.
Because it wasn't like you call the number and they just tell you. It was you call the number and they're like, Welcome to the WCW Hotline. And today's top story, Hulk Hogan is defending the WCW Championship again, and they drag it out. And the first minute costs however much, and the second, third, fourth minute would cost more and more, So that's how they'd get
Genius.
you, and you'd get to the
Genius.
end, and you'd be like, oh yeah, Haku isn't happy in WWE, and then Ming will pop up later on, and that's really it.
Oh my
It was
God.
clickbait before clickbait.
I am so glad you just brought up Haku.
Yeah.
Are you ready for me to tell you something? And I am so sorry.
Okay, go. All right, go for it. It's okay. We got an awesome tag match to come back to
I
that we're
I
not even like
don't
halfway done talking about. I'm fine.
I don't know if I saw this for is it coming out this year or last year? I don't know. The title says 2023, but Haku, DDP, and I forgot the other wrestlers that are in it. They are in a Halloween movie together.
All
And
right.
I think
Well,
it
I
came out
guess we
this
have something
year.
else to watch.
I don't know if it came out this year or last year, but it's called The Unbreakable Bunch. Um,
Okay.
an alien force came to conquer. They had no idea the bunch that who was in town. Um, 1 second. I'm gonna try to get the rest of the wrestlers. Okay. Okay. DDP, Haku, Larry Zybaziko. I don't
Z-
know who that is.
Zabisco.
Yep. Ray Lloyd,
Okay.
um,
That's Glacier.
Ernest Miller, Tonga is in the
Okay.
movie, and
The other Islander.
yep, and Luther Biggs. They are
Luther Biggs.
yeah. I don't know what that is. Um,
I know who it sounds like it is, and I hope I'm wrong. I am wrong.
yeah, he was a wrestler in the '90s. But yeah,
Okay.
they are in the movie The Unbreakable Bunch.
He was in TNA. Okay. Sure, dude.
Oh, and Gangrel. Did I mention him too?
Gangrel.
Yeah. But yeah.
Oh, he was Disgraceland. Okay, okay. That is such a fucking like obscure TNA character. Okay, so he didn't wrestle there long. He's probably the least popular of all the people you just mentioned. That's probably why he was listed last.
Gotcha.
And billing Ray Lloyd as Ray Lloyd and not Glacier, that's ballsy.
Oh, I mean, it says Ray Lord, also known as Glacier, a former
There you go.
WCW wrestler.
Hey, I'd like to point out there, training brother. When I started my training, I was trained by the same guy that trained Glacier.
Oh,
Shout out
nice.
Fred Avery. You're the fucking man, and I would not have done any of this without your help. Thank you, sir. All right,
Uh,
we can keep going. He'd be really excited to hear me talking such great stuff about the Rock and Roll Express and Midnight Express, I bet.
yeah. What's the equivalent of oh, I just lost the train of thought. No. It was a stupid joke. I will just if I remember. Oh, Eskimo
If
Bros,
yeah, that's
but
a
Eskimo Bros,
oh
but for trainers. Is there a same
I don't
thing?
I don't know. I was just saying training brothers. I definitely have not had sex with the same person that Ray Lloyd has. To my knowledge. I mean, I don't think I have. I don't think I have.
I just think of like Taco from uh
Oh, the
the
league?
league, yeah, and
Yeah, I love that show.
the EBDBB and
Gone too
B.
soon. Yeah.
Uh,
Way too soon. Gone way too soon, man. Although I don't know how much of the league would probably be watered down in 2024. Though It's Always Sunny is still fantastic. So I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't be.
hmm. uh, but yeah, so here, I'll pick it up from where we were talking about from the
Yeah, I cut the Rock and Roll Express off, I think is where we were, but go ahead.
yeah, Rock and Roll Express, great double team clotheslines. Um, on the Midnight Express, we had some right hand exchanges into the ring. Stan Lane and I forgot who else falls to the floor. I think it
It
was
was Lane and Morton.
Lane and Morton. Okay. And then Stan Lane then slams Ricky Morton onto the apron. Uh, and that's where Bobby Eaton he picks up Ricky Morton and drops him on the guardrail. Um, then we also have Jim Cornette getting his hits in towards the
Oh
end.
yes, of course. Yeah, they kicked this dude's entire ass for quite a while.
Yeah. Uh, Bobby he tries to go for like a slam against the ring post and he just eats it right in the face. Um, and then we go back in the ring and it's another couple minutes of just Midnight Express, Ricky Morton just like, hey dude, you showed up, you're gonna wrestle. You said how long this match was? 20 minutes basically. You're gonna
Yeah,
get
it's
your
like
ass
19
kicked
and a
for
half. Yeah,
17 minutes of it.
17 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Let me just say, as much as that I love the Midnight Express as baby faces, heel version's way better, dude. Heel version is so much better. This is their calling. I and maybe it's just that they have the Rock and Roll Express to be like the good guys they fight, but I don't know. I'm sure we'll see just as great of matches out of, maybe not as great of matches, but like just as great of work out of the Midnight Express as heels going forward. It's not like it's just because they're wrestling these guys, but I love these guys as heels. It's so much more entertaining with them. It's much more entertaining than them as baby faces. And I wrote that like as long as they've been beating this dude's ass, when Morton gets that tag, this crowd is going to, and they tease it so many times. Like Morton's hopes are awesome, and they're made even better by like how violently he gets cut back off. And anytime that starts to get any space, the Midnights will like immediately just tag out, and the other one will run to the other side and catch him before he can get there. And all that's made possible by how wonderfully Morton is selling that beating. He's not just getting up and making the tag because he can. He's got his opening, but he can't capitalize because they've been beating his ass so much. His selling makes him look like he's in actual peril. Maybe that's easy because he kind of looks old as fuck, but I still think it works, Like he looks like he's in pain. He looks like he needs that tag.
yeah, no, I mean, yeah, he's dying in there. Bad, 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 bad. And do you want me to get to the finish?
Yeah, sure, sure.
Uh, rocket launcher double team from Midnight Express. Ricky Morton though gets his feet up. He then gets the hot tag to Robert Gibson. Robert Gibson then gets the 3 count after a failed. I don't know. It's kind of like this weird double team move from the Midnight Express where we had, I want to
Yeah, they
say,
go for a double flapjack.
yeah, and like
Is what it
Ricky
looked like.
Morton, he like comes in and they like stop it midway and
Yeah, he like
tackles.
tackles Eaton.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then Gibson just falls on what's his name? I'm drawing a blank.
he rolls up Lane and gets the
Stan
win.
Lane, yeah, and he wins 1, 2, 3. Yeah,
Fucking phenomenal match, dude.
it's amazing. The match is great. Jim Cornette's great. Wrestling in the '90s, Cameron, great. So
Yeah, it's at least in the NWA. Things are WCW. We're heading to the future on this show. WWE needs to catch the fuck up. I'm sick of looking at Hogan doing the same shit. No tag teams doing this on WWF. This was awesome, dude.
yeah, it's not even close to.
No.
The tag team division in WWE would not stand in WCW at all. It'd be so
And
bad
like
for
it
them.
doesn't have to be this way. Demolition's good. The Rougeaus are good. We have the Rockers. We have the Hart Foundation. The talent is potentially there. No one's gonna have the chemistry that Rock and Roll and Midnight have right now because they've been wrestling each other for fucking ever. But I mean, fuck, let's try to build something with the teams we have to get to where we can one day have this. But nah. How can we make Hulk Hogan look cooler?
Yeah, because that's what we need. But
What we're
after
gonna get.
after the match, we have the Road Warriors and Paul Ellering being
Yeah, and
interviewed.
I'll be honest, dude. When I saw that this interview was happening and I saw the Road Warriors, I tuned the fuck out because I didn't care because I know there's no way the Road Warriors are about to top that. But I also wasn't expecting the members of this match that were there.
What's crazy is Paul Ellering being here, and then he's here in real life, up to date in
Yeah,
2024 with the Final Testament. Like it is so cool seeing that, you know, people like him and uh fucking Paul Heyman are still here after the 90s. It's just wild.
that is really crazy. Who's the Final Testament? Who's in that?
It's I just Karrion Kross, uh
Okay.
the authors of Pain, Akeem and
Okay. All
Razor,
right. Cool.
and then Scarlet. I think it's Karrion Kross's wife in real life or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Scarlet Bordeaux or something like that.
Yes. Yep.
So it's AOP plus Cross and Scarlet.
Yeah, and then they're managed by
All right. I'll
Paul.
take that.
Yep.
I'll take that.
They
I
are
mean,
now
last
in
time
the
I saw him, he was just managing AOP. Last time I saw him,
and
or
the
last time I was
Miz. The
watching.
Miz has now joined.
This is in the Final Testament.
Yeah,
Okay.
and the reason why
Sure,
is
dude.
they made Miz turn heel again.
Yeah, he turned on R-Truth.
Yep, and now the Wyatts are facing author or the Final Testament.
Okay, well that's cool at least.
Yeah, it's kind of
I
like
mean, I
the
guess the Miz being in
Wyatts.
that group. Good.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Wyatts and R-Truth versus them and Miz.
I guess Miz being in that makes as much sense as fucking Carlito being in the Judgment Day.
Caribbean cool.
Yeah, dude.
Um, but yeah, this next
So,
match,
for,
man.
yeah, Landon, who's in this match?
So I wrote it
What's
down.
going
I
on here?
said, yeah, Cameron, you son of a bitch. I get who the famous person is. The Undertaker is here.
Yeah, look at the size of that ham hock. You know,
Oh
look
yeah.
at that, dude.
I can't tell you how many times they told me that. Oh my God, Mean Mark is 6'10". Oh my God, look at the size of this guy. I can't tell you how many times. You wanted an actual skyscraper for the name? Well, you fucking got one.
You fucking got one. And then there's like this dude beside him, Mike Enos, by the way, underneath the mass skyscraper. Um, don't worry too much about. Well, I don't know if we're gonna ever really see much of Mike Enos. I know he's in WCW, but I think he's basically like a Thunder Saturday Night guy. He'll lose to NWO members on Nitro. I don't think we'll ever see this guy on a pay per view. And that's not to shit on him. That's just like that's how things went.
Well, that sucks for him.
Yeah.
And
Well, what also sucks is having a match that features the fucking Undertaker, but then the Road Warriors come out riding bitch on their motorcycles.
okay, okay. Now you remember? I think it was last year or the year before. Not in real life, but in our timeline, I said the Road Warriors are, they look cool, they have everything, but you can't ride bitch on a motorcycle,
Yeah.
and act like you're all big and bad and all that. Like, cool, you want to be on the back and stand up and put your hands up in the air, but nah, bro, you gotta ride that shit Undertaker style. Okay, this motherfucker Undertaker comes to WCW. And in the same year, he's main eventing a
Yeah.
WWE event in what, 8 months from now? That's fucking insane.
Yeah, like this year he'll be debuting as a big deal on WWE and will be a staple of WWE for fuck 20, 30 years.
Yeah, actually, about 4 months ago, 4 or 5 months ago, and fucking uh WrestleMania 40, yeah, WrestleMania 40 that we just saw.
Yeah, he did have an appearance at 40. Yeah, that's right. I still feel like it should have been Steve Austin, but I'd rather have Undertaker than nobody.
Yeah, Steve has to come this year, right? If
I don't know, man. Him coming out to stop The Rock from doing what he was doing last year would have just been too perfect, man.
I know, but I mean, it's like, yeah, I mean, and if you didn't have, you couldn't afford Stone Cold. If Stone Cold's like, no, I'm not gonna do this. Yeah,
Yeah, he probably just didn't want to go.
yeah, Undertaker is the next best guess.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'd rather have Undertaker than nobody. Like he would be choice B, I suppose, but like Steve Austin would have just been too perfect. Not for this match though, because this is a skyscraper match.
Yeah, and I have no clue what Steve Austin would do here, but but what'd you think?
Yeah.
Very quick, very not very
Well, I thought it
entertaining.
was weird first off that we had a Chicago. Yeah, it's 4 minutes 59 seconds, so right under 5 minutes. But it's a lot of fighting because it's a Chicago street fight, in North Carolina. But we did say that we liked the Texas tornado style. Well,
That's what
here
we
we go.
got. Yeah, and
Yeah.
what's funny is I did want to make another thing. The fire was cool on the Road Warriors entrance. I wanted to make that a
Oh
point.
yeah, yeah,
Teddy
yeah.
Long, remember him from earlier? He's the manager here.
Yes,
Uh, the
yeah.
Road Warriors
And he's
come
not. He
in.
doesn't lie.
Yeah, he doesn't lie. Road Warriors come in, and the skyscrapers they escape the ring. Well, Paul Ellering's in there, and he's like, "Hey, you motherfucker, Teddy Long, you better get your ass in this ring right here." And Teddy, I mean, he doesn't back down from a fight, man.
No,
He's not
that's Sugar
no
Ray Teddy,
fucking
dude.
yeah. He gets up, he gets in that ring. They're squaring around. Teddy tries to go for him. Paul moves out of the way and then clocks Teddy right in the face. And then the crowd goes crazy. Teddy,
Yeah,
he
nice
he,
moment.
he gets out of the ring, and then the match officially starts. But awesome. I literally wrote, love how everyone is in the ring to start the match. This is how all tag teams should be.
At least if it's a Chicago street fight. Like, how were these six more untethered than the six that fought the fucking team of savage, uncontrollable Samoans a few months ago? What the fuck?
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God,
Um,
that's so
I
funny.
do think that the Road Warriors are kind of good in the setting of just a fight where they don't have to do actual wrestling moves. Other than the fact that they will not sell shit, dude. They will not sell for people.
Yeah,
They will take all the hits in the world, but they're up in like 3 seconds. They don't care.
and listen, I'm on record on here on saying Hawk is awful. Hawk could be the worst wrestler that we've
They're both
seen.
kind of bad. They're
And what's crazy is like the Road Warriors are a big staple. People know the Road Warriors
yeah,
from the '90s,
yeah. They're like the fucking tag team.
and even early 2000s, right? Like they're here for a minute, and it's just like,
Yeah, like '98 when they kind of stopped being more or less regular.
yeah. I think Hawk. I think I remember him in some battle royals in early 2000s. Um, but yeah, I
Oh
mean,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, he dies in like 2003, I think. So like
oh really?
sometime in 2003. Yeah,
Wow.
the Hawk does.
Is Animal still alive? Any idea?
No, he passed away a few years back.
Wow. That's crazy, actually. Awful, awful, awful.
I mean, yeah, you never want to hear about people, passing away. It's sad stuff, but it doesn't make the wrestling they did any better or worse than it was, unfortunately. So anyway, I love that Mean Mark Callis. He gets sent outside at one point. And he's just like, you know what? Fuck this. And the masked dude is just left to die to the Doomsday device. So Road Warriors win. Oh, by the way, Doom is here. Doom is in fact Ron Simmons and Butch Reed.
Yeah, they thought
Uh,
they pulled a fast one the last time we saw them by wearing those
they
masks.
thought they did. They
Yeah.
thought they had us,
Um,
but
they were Teddy
I'm too
Long's
fucking
bodyguards. Yeah.
quick. I'm too quick witted.
Yeah. Do you think Undertaker here was like, "Fuck this promotion. I'm going somewhere where I could be more of a character, not a wrestler."
Yeah, yeah. Wrestling sucks. I need to go be a character. Although, like, this is more or less the style that Undertaker would have at some point. Like, he's more of a striker.
Hey,
Undertaker has moves. Don't get me wrong, but
hey.
like, other than Tombstone and Chokeslam, tell me an Undertaker move. Also, Last Ride. Other than his
Oh, damn
finishers,
it.
give me an Undertaker move.
Oh, Uh, wait. Okay. Last ride is over the head, right? I'm trying to think of
Yeah.
the move that he does where he jumps on the top rope
All
and
right, that's old school.
oh, it's old school. Okay.
Yeah, so I can also think of Hell's Gate, which was his little finisher, his little signature, like submission for a while. He also used TCB, which was the taking care of business, the Dragon Sleeper. He used that for a while.
I could
Snake
tell
Eyes.
you what he does when he's on the mat. He sits up and rolls his eyes
He
back.
sits up. Yeah, and that's all you care about because that's the Undertaker. Because Undertaker is like, for years, I think over the or like since maybe pretty far into the 2000s and on, he's really the only character. Like everybody else becomes a person, you know. But Undertaker stays this undead zombie god figure for fucking years.
Dude, I'm so glad he's here because I love how we're gonna talk about the Undertaker so much. And
I think the Lord needs to become that. Mean Mark Callis dies in some kind of tragic accident, and his body becomes the zombie, the Undertaker.
so I got a question. When he's the American Badass, is he still the Undertaker or is he just the
Yeah,
American Badass?
he's still the Undertaker, and they'll still refer to him as the Dead Man, even though he's an alive, walking man
And
who
he's
rides
not,
motorcycles
yeah,
and
he's not as scary. Yeah,
yeah, and then he'll get buried alive, and then he'll come back as the
the Dead
godly
Man.
figure
Yeah,
that can teleport and all that crazy shit.
yeah. Shout
So when
out
Undertaker
to
shows up,
shout out to his training, his manager who helped him, be able to teleport as well as he does. Because goddamn, is it
yeah,
not good?
wherever that came from, he's really good at it, especially when the lights are out.
Yeah. You know what?
So
Shout out
let's
his
see.
wife, Michelle McCool.
Yeah, not Sarah. That's the other. Anyway,
Oh,
so
what?
they pick up the Road Warriors pick up Teddy Long and they just kind of throw him at Doom, and they just catch him,
Yeah.
and then they get in the ring, and then they fight. The street fight is followed by a fight.
And in the post street fight, goddamn, was it not more action and more intense fighting than the regular
It really
street fight
was.
that we saw? Um,
And way less selling, dude. No one sold shit. Like no one cared that they were getting hit.
yeah.
Eventually, Doom just kind of leaves. Like Road Warriors win the fight and clear Doom of the ring, but like I don't think they won the fight. They just knocked him out of the ring. Like I kind of want to see Road Warriors and Doom, if I'm being honest, just because it was such a stalemate and it's four big dudes that want to beat the fuck out of each other. I actually thought this was fun. This was it didn't go too long. It was just 5 minutes. It was chaotic, just a bunch of people beating each other's ass, and you need that because Road Warriors and Skyscrapers were not about to do what Rock and Roll and Midnight Express just did, and they're also not gonna do what Brian Pillman and Tom Zink are gonna do against the Freebirds.
It's a palate cleanser right here.
Yes, it's a very nice palate
I
cleanser.
wanted to mention as well is what's funny is they've preferences as the Chicago street fight. So they are all wearing street clothes. They're not wearing what
Mhm.
they would normally wear. They're all wearing jeans and like leather jackets because this is a
It
street
fits the
fight.
gimmick of the match.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good touch. I like when people do that.
How hard is it to wrestle in jeans, go?
It's fucking terrible.
Yeah, I know
It's
you don't,
fucking
but
terrible, dude. They're very like restricting, also very hot to wrestle in. So a lot of people cheat and just do jeggings. But not me though. I'm a fucking purist. If I'm wrestling in jeans, I'm in jeans. But
I
I
can't
rarely ever do that.
I can't wait to start my solo podcast, discovering wrestling's biggest secrets, and I just tell the world what you tell me. Like
I
a
mean, I don't think I'm saying that anything that isn't already like pretty common
public, yeah.
knowledge.
Be like, did you know they don't really wear jeans? They wear jeggings. Ah,
And
all right.
I could never really like prove that any specific people were doing them. It's not like I'm there to be like, jeggings, you fucking liar. Like
Yeah,
for all I know, all those years in WWE, Dean Ambrose and Luke Harper were actually wearing jeans. For all I know,
yeah. It's like you
I
fucking
just
posers.
yeah. I mean, who knows? Who knows what they were wearing? I don't. But yeah, jeans, wrestling in jeans sucks. It's terrible. It's really hard getting the knee pads underneath them too, man. It's like I don't know.
But yeah, so after that, we have a Jim Ross update. He's updating us about, hey, these next 3 matches, they're all gonna be for a title.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, cool. Thank you so much, Jim Ross.
More or less saying like shit's picking up now.
Mhm.
Everything happening here is important, and not to say everything before it wasn't. But now is where like, all right, here's why you're here. I guess if you're here to see these specific people, if you want Ric Flair and Luger, like now the time to start paying attention, I guess.
Yeah, go ahead.
When they're doing this in this little moment here, I thought it was so wholesome that Terry Funk is he's just so happy to be there, his arms wrapped around Jim Ross. He makes this weird comment that Long is the only guy that can eat a banana sideways.
Yeah, yep.
What the fuck what does that mean?
I don't know. Yeah, because when they're showing the replay, he says that. Yeah, so weird. He's so weird. Um,
But here we go.
our next match is for the U.S. Tag Team titles.
Yeah, the Freebirds have lost the world tag belts. I'm not gonna say actual. The US tag belts are real tag belts, but they're not the they've lost the world tag belts, and I think that's kind of weird. I was really enjoying the Freebirds. I still enjoy the Freebirds, by the way. The music has officially grown on me. I don't know a fucking word to the song other than Bad Street, Atlanta, GA, but I love it.
Me either, but yeah, it is awesome. Bad Street. Uh, quick question.
All right.
Lillian Garcia back as ring announcer. Happy?
Sure. Why not?
Yeah, she's awesome. Why not? Yeah.
We'll see if they give her anywhere near the praise and screen time that Samantha Irvin got, or if Samantha Irvin has permanently ruined that for anyone ever. I don't know.
Hey,
I don't
Samantha
know the
was
story.
awesome though. Yeah.
She was, but also what helps you thinking that is the fact that after every time she says anything, Michael Cole's like, Samantha Irvin's fucking killing it on ring announcing. Like, imagine going back to WrestleMania 15 or 14 or something, and Howard Finkel just pours his heart into his performance. And they go, Howard Finkel, GOAT, legend on ring announcing. He's fucking killing it. No, they never did that shit. They go, oh, look at the fucking Fink, loser. Shut up. Let's get to the wrestling. But Samantha Irvin, they're like, oh my fucking God, she's so good. She is. But like, what the fuck are we doing? And now they're just going to be like, oh, Lillian's back. Cool. Yay, Lillian. Some joke about like her face or some shit. I don't know. They're just fucking cruel at times. Cruel to some and overly nice to others. Again, not that Samantha Irvin isn't fucking great, but what helps everyone think that is the fact that they consistently beat you over the head with it. You're great, Samantha Irvin. You're not listening to this podcast, but you're
But if you are,
some of your
hey, we
freaking
love you.
fanboys. Yeah, if you are, I mean, yeah, come on in and you know we'll let you talk about why you left, any of that shit.
Anything you want.
Yeah, you can talk whatever you want. You can talk about WrestleWar 90 and how fucking great it is.
Um, but yeah, they're Flying Brian and Z-Man, the champions, taking on the
Yeah,
Freebirds.
dude.
I got some backstory for you. Um,
Okay.
so WCW, they wanted to bring back the U.S. tag titles. So a tournament was held to crown the new champions.
Okay.
And the finals, it was these two teams, and Flying Brian and Z-Man, of course, won. Um, Z-Man is Zinc, right? That's what it Zinc.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
he's on Zinc.
okay, because I wrote Zinc a couple times, and I just wanted to make sure. I think you told me that last time Z-Man was on screen.
Yep.
Uh,
He was tagging with Rick Martel the first time we saw him.
wow, that's crazy. Uh, so yeah, this is basically just a rematch of the finals from the tournament that happened a couple weeks ago. So
Too bad
that's
it
where we
didn't
are here.
play out as well for Michael Hayes and Jimmy Jam Garvin. Where the fuck is Terry Gordy?
I don't know.
Not that I don't love Jimmy Garvin, but goddamn, I love some Terry Gordy.
Yeah, I don't
Anyway.
know. And where's
I do love the Freebirds though, man. They've grown on me so much. It started with Michael Hayes kind of wearing me down and winning me over. And then the Freebirds popped back up and I was like, okay, all right, I'm in. I get it. I get it.
oh god. But yeah, what'd you think of the match though?
Let's see, what did I? I thought it was a pretty solid match. There was at times where like the heat was a little long-winded, but honestly, like I did think this was a pretty good match, and it's following a lot of really exciting shit. So it had it had a high bar set for it.
And
But I think that even having to follow that, it was still easy to watch. I really enjoyed it a lot. I really like watching Brian Pillman. Freebirds are fun, period. And like honestly, like Tom Zink was fine. He didn't really do much to stand out for me here, but there was never a moment where I was like, "Get this motherfucker out of here! He's ruining this." It's not like he was a dynamic dude, you know. But I mean, I have a lot of notes about like the stuff that happened because
go ahead, shoot him away.
uh, I know. So the first thing I wrote is that there's a lot of tag matches on this card, but at least every one of them have been better than Halloween Havoc. Um, the baby faces like trade place with the girls that's like that are there with the Freebirds and get a jump on them. I thought that was a pretty nice little start, pretty fun.
Yeah. Yep.
It's important to do something different. Like you're not gonna have the Rock and Roll Midnight Express, work rate of a match. You're not gonna have that. So give them something different, and you get this little start here where they switch the places with the girls. Um, and they should have. I felt like they should have just kept going into the match off of that, but they just kind of stop and spread apart again, and they just kind of start clean. I feel like they should have just gone right into the match. There's a lot of time here that was just wasted for no reason. But they also, at the same time, kill a lot of time with this, with the Freebirds arguing with the crowd about whether or not they do or do not suck. And also Hayes taking any opportunity to do the fucking strut will be, it'll be praised by me. So it's not like I have to entirely hate it. I just this match is one of the longest on the show. It is the longest. It's not the main event. And like I said, the heat is gonna get a little long-winded. So kind of getting more like straightforward into this would have probably served us better on this show. But it's fine. It's not like it killed it for me. I really enjoy the look of the Freebirds because I don't think that they're like good looking, attractive, so hot women have to be all over them guys. They just have that confidence equals hot vibe. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like they believe that they're ladies men and that they're just like they're irresistible so hard that it just makes everybody else be like, "Yep, that's them. They're ladies men." And it works.
Do you want to
They
know?
move. Okay, go ahead.
Do you want to know what kind of reminds me of them?
What's that?
They just debuted on WWE, the Motor City Machine Guns.
So, do you know anything about the Machine
I
Guns
do not.
before they were in
I've only
WWE?
seen their 3 matches in WWE.
Man, all right. Well, wait until we get to the TNA years. Landon, Motor City Machine Guns is one of my favorite tag teams of all time.
Okay, so this is a good signing from WWE.
Fuck yes. Now
Okay.
they're a little older now, of course, but like Chris Sabin, he was TNA World Champion. Alex Shelley was TNA World Champion. Do you remember Kushida, who was
Yeah,
on
I remember
NXT a little while?
Kushida. Yeah.
Alex Shelley used to tag with him in New Japan. They were the Time
Oh.
Splitters. And Chris Sabin is just one of my favorite wrestlers ever. Period. I've uh, I've been like, I've been more or less, a big fan of his since early TNA years, like '03.
Oh wow.
Um, yeah,
Oh,
dude.
so they're
Motor
like
City Machine Guns is,
okay. They've been
yeah, yeah,
around.
yeah. That's why it was like, that's why they could just walk in and have 3 matches and be tag champions. I would say if there was ever like an AJ Styles type of signing for the tag division, this was it.
Okay, yeah, because I actually was gonna ask, like, 3 matches in, they win the championship. How does that make you feel? But it sounds like they're established
Ecstatic.
and well known and that popular where they can do that. So that's awesome to hear, though.
Yeah, I was so happy because I didn't get to watch SmackDown because I was doing my own wrestling show, and then someone told me after our show was over, and I was so happy to hear that.
I got another comparison, and I want you to Google Tom Zink.
You mean to Google Tom Zink?
Yep. And right when you see him, you see his first photo. What two
Uh
people, if they had a baby, would be Tom Zink?
huh. Is it Tito Santana and Rick Martel?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay.
This is
I
the Strike Force baby.
literally, literally. It is crazy how canny they look alike, bro. And honestly, he kind of dresses like him too, especially the Tito
Oh yeah,
Santana.
yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
I had to add that. Like when I saw it, first
Oh
thing that
no,
popped in
you're
my head.
good.
Um,
You're good.
but yeah, all in all, I thought this match, it is probably the third best tag team match on there. Better than the
Third
first one.
best. Yeah. Well, that would make it the second best then. If it was better than the first one. 'Cause there
Oh,
were three tag
so
matches.
far, there was four. Well, there's
Well, the four
five.
matches. Yeah, 5 matches. Well, no shit. I forgot about the street fight. My bad.
Yeah, and then the
Okay.
NWA World Tag matches that's coming up next.
Oh God, you're right, dude. I
Yeah,
don't know. I'm tripping.
you're good. So
I'm
no,
so
yeah,
confused.
this is the third best tag team match in my opinion. Some things that I wrote. Uh, the Freebirds, all they do is a DDT, kind of funny. Um, I wrote it twice. Z-Man looks like if Rick Martel and Tito Santana had a baby. And then I wrote Z-Man shorts literally stole them from Tito Santana's closet. Yikes. Uh,
Well, he's that's who Tito replaced with to make Strike Force because Zink and Martel were the Can-Am connection,
yeah.
and then all of a sudden Martel shows up tagging with Tito in their Strike Force, and we joked about him subbing in and making him disguising himself as Tom Zink so Rick Martel would tag with him, and then I didn't even think about the fact that they look so goddamn similar that that's realistically what could have happened as far
I'm
as the
de-
lore goes.
I'm demanding a DNA test. We're going back to the 90s.
We got to. We got to.
um,
I'm trying to like see the big parts of my notes here because it's mostly babyface at the beginning until Brian eats a wicked punch from Hayes out of the corner, dude. Such a good punch, and they keep this very competitive for a while, except
yeah.
like nobody keeps control for that long. They kind of go in and out with both teams, kind of like taking control back and forth at a pretty fast pace until Brian takes the heat. But never stops fighting back, and even he'll have the upper hand for seconds at a time and then get shut down. Like, I really like the formula that WCW has with their tag matches. It's like it's easy to understand, it's easy to follow, and it isn't boring and it isn't stupid.
Speaking about boring,
And it makes sense.
I do think Jim Ross and Terry Funk did get bored during this match, because I
They
wrote
did.
down they do start talking about like bad breath and toothpaste during the match. So
Oh yeah, but it's basically when who when Tom Zink is getting the heat put on him because I mentioned that is too long. They beat Zink's ass for so long to where it kind of got like it's not like it got to the point where it was boring, but I was really ready for something to happen.
yeah, uh, but yeah, I mean here's how it finishes. Tom
All right.
Zink, he counters, he gets a DDT off on his own. He tags Pillman in, who does like fucking, I want to say 5 or 6, uh,
A lot of drop kicks.
like drop kicks in a row, and then,
And they look great.
yeah, and then they hit a double clothesline. Um, oh yeah, all 4 men were in the ring, by the way. Um, the ref is distracted. Garvin, he sends Z-Man to the cameraman. Pillman is legal though. Brian hits a flying crossbody off the top rope and gets a 3 count. The part where Garvin he sends Z-Man to the cameraman was out of the
Like right
blue.
at the camera.
Yeah, like
He
we
was
haven't seen that
right at the
yet,
camera.
and it was just crazy. And the way that the cameraman doesn't fall off, because you see it a lot during this matches, they jump up on the apron, and you can tell like,
Hmm.
technology's not where it's at nowadays. But yeah, I mean, it was just crazy. Um, but yeah, the Z-Man and Flying Brian retain.
And the Freebirds aren't having that shit, so they just beat them up and leave.
Yep. That happens a lot in
Solid
tag
match
team
though.
matches. That happens a lot tonight, where the losing team just is gonna kick your ass after, you just gotta deal
There's
with
a
it.
lot of sore losers on this show.
Yes, there is, bro. Yes, there is. Um, Next match, there's no promos, no interviews, no nothing. We
That's
kick it
fine,
right
I
off.
guess.
Uh, we have the World Tag Team Championship match. We have the World TV Champion, I want to say. I think that was the title. Arn Anderson and his brother, Ole Anderson,
Yeah, that's right. He was TV champion. Yeah.
mm, versus the Steiner brothers, Rick, Scott Steiner, who are the champions. And yeah, this is the Tag Team Championship match.
Yeah, this is the Avenged Sting tag match.
Yes, two of the four horsemen who beat the shit out of Sting. And I love how right when the match is about to start, you see Rick Steiner in the ring, and I forgot what his sign said, but it says like "Avenge Sting" or "For Sting" or something like that, and he's like showing it off in their face, and I'm like, I think they're kind of getting away from like Rick Steiner being like a dumbass, like he's actually trying to be like a hard ass. Hey, I'm Rick Steiner, bitch, you know?
Yeah. I mean, they need to because it's been such a weak point in his character is that he's fucking stupid. Also, you have Norman the Lunatic on your roster now, so Rick doing shit like that isn't gonna look good on him.
Yeah,
Because
because
now you
there's
have
worse
something to
people.
compare him
Yeah.
to on your
Hmm.
roster, and and also what you're comparing him to is fucking offensive. So let's just let Rick Steiner act like he actually graduated fucking college.
God. Yeah, especially
But
with
I was
all the
actually like
wrestling and
expecting a pretty
football
good
he
match
did.
here.
Yeah, me too. Especially
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Arn Anderson being here now, full time and everything. He's back.
Scott is a fucking powerhouse.
He is. You remember when Scott was too scared to go protect Rick's dog in the back?
Yeah, those days are long gone. Scott can lift the shark cage on his own now.
Who, who do you like better, Scott or Rick?
Oh, Scott, by far, Scott.
Doesn't Scott become something else later on?
Yeah, because Big Papa Pump.
Big Papa Punk. Okay, and Rick doesn't, right?
Rick becomes Rick Steiner. I don't, does he have the dog face gremlin name on him right now, or is that something that have you heard them say that about him
I
yet?
don't think so. Yeah.
Okay, well eventually like they'll give him that nickname, but it's even while he's in a tag team with Scott. Like these two are gonna be tagging for a little while until eventually NWO shit happens.
Oh, because I know Scott Steiner with like the chain metal head kind of thing he wears,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean,
Okay.
that's like the Scott Steiner that everyone more or less remembers and he's known to be. But, you know, early day Scott Steiner where he's this jacked as fuck athletic dude that can seemingly do anything and everything. This one kind of gets looked over a lot. Like people still like you know respect it and appreciate it, but him redefining himself really changed everything.
Yeah, that's good. And I always, I just looked at him as like the second hand man to um what I forgot their tag team already with what was their tag? It was like the college people. What was it called?
Oh, the Varsity
The
Club?
Varsity Club, yes.
Yeah.
Or like just Rick's brother, and now he's making a name, more big of a name
Yeah,
himself. So,
he's half of the world tag champions now.
um, Doctor Death, by the way,
Not on this show.
not in WCW anymore now.
Really? Okay.
Contract dispute. I looked up why
Okay.
wasn't Steve Williams on the card, and that was why.
I honestly like it didn't occur to me until you just said it that he wasn't on the show. And I even talked about him the other day that because I was complaining about some of the things I didn't like about the scene that we're up to in our podcast here, and I mentioned that they basically turned Dr. Death into like their knockoff of Jim Duggan, and I didn't think it was good for him. I
Yeah.
liked him better in the Varsity Club. Now he's gone completely, which is probably better than him being the knockoff Jim Duggan. Because there's no Varsity Club now. They are gone. There is no Varsity Club. Mike Rotunda wasn't on this show. Dan Spivey is not even a skyscraper now, allegedly. Kevin
Oh my
Sullivan's got
god.
a new friend. He's got two new friends actually.
Yeah, I mean
So
Kevin
yeah,
Sullivan's on the up and come up, so. Oh, he debuts in All Japan in March 6, 1990.
there you go. There you go.
Terry
He'll
Gordy
have
and
a very
Steve
small stint in WWE too. So
Terry Gordy and Steve Williams defeat Stan Hansen and Junichiro Tenryu for the tag team titles in his debut.
Tenru.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, that's you
Um,
said that's all Japan. You said
yes, All Japan in March
okay.
6th, so about a week from now.
Okay, man, Japanese wrestling, dude. Oh man,
Amazing.
brother, that's the wrestling.
Yeah, I bet. I bet
Well,
fucking AJ Styles killed over there.
yes, yes. It's gonna be very hard at a certain point when I know New Japan becomes fucking awesome. It's already probably awesome, but like when I know like New Japan is awesome and gets consistent English commentary, it's gonna be pretty hard to keep me restrained from not having us watching all the New Japan
We
shows.
should like if I don't know if it's on Peacock or anything, but I'd love to watch some.
I mean, they have a streaming service that I'll be happy
Yeah,
to
sure.
get when we get to that point. I know a good jumping on point for us, but either way, we'll definitely have to check out some New Japan at some point. There's a Japanese like there's like a joint show from WWE and like some Japanese shows that's on the list of their events. I don't know if it's on Peacock or not, but it's I don't know if it's coming up this year or next, but like eventually there's one that's really cool. It's like it's called like Wrestling Summit or something like that.
Oh, the Summit. That's pretty cool. I hope it's like New Japan and WWE wrestlers are fighting on top of mountains like King of the Hill style. We need a King of a Hill match. Is that a thing?
um I don't I mean you'll get King of the Mountain in TNA, which is kind of close, I guess.
Whoever stands on top
The
of the
con
mountain wins.
Well, the concept is like you instead of climbing the ladder to pull the belt down, you take the belt, climb the ladder, and hang it yourself to
Oh,
to declare yourself king of the mountain.
that's awesome. I need to watch one of those. All right.
They vary in quality.
I bet they do. Yeah. But what did you think about this match though?
Let's see. I did not write my opinion on this match.
Uh,
I'm trying to remember it because I'm like I said, I watched it too early, so I'm trying to like look over my notes and remember like specific things. I'm just gonna go through it and then I'll see if I can jog my memory here. The first thing I wrote is that Terry Funk spells out wrestling, and he does it the correct way, WRESTLING. But I know goddamn well, Landon, and I'll show you the video that I'm referring to. This shit is spelled RASSLIN. That's
wrestling?
wrestling. Wrestling. Let's see. Rick follows Arn and throws him into Scott. Pretty cool. They pound on the heels and they just kind of bail. Um, Arn tries to lure Scott into his corner, but Scott sees straight through it. Thank God. Thank God he's not dumb enough to fall for this kind of shit. And then he catches a knee drop from Anderson. Atomic drops him. They stand off again. Fuck them for that. But we're this far into it. At least it's the last tag match doing it. Ole corners himself and he refuses to get out until one of the Steiners get out, which is fair, Pound on the heels again. They bail again. And the Andersons, they can't get anything going against the champions. Um, Arn carries himself like a very smart wrestler. Do you see what I mean by that? Like as he's moving and doing stuff, you can see the gears turning in his head as he like stares at his opponents and just like sizing them up for whatever he's about to do.
Okay, yeah.
Um, I really cannot overstate how great Arn Anderson really is, dude. I think he's as much praise as he gets, I still feel like he's one of the most underrated wrestlers of all time, and he's not put up in this like great, this like GOAT status because he was never world champion or some dumb shit. Like fuck that. There would not be Horseman without Arn Anderson. Um, Rick catches on an Elite Frog attempt for a power slam. Pretty cool.
Real quick, I'm gonna
The
jump
Rock.
in.
Yeah.
There's a point kind of within there. Uh Oli is trying to tell the referee to get Rick Steiner back, and he goes, he's like, "Get that mother," and he like sees the camera, and he's like, "F her back."
He changes gears real quick.
Yeah. Uh, Ole and what do you think about Ole Anderson compared to his brother?
I definitely like Arn better, but I don't have anything negative to say about Ole Anderson. I've judging by the way Wicked or not Wicked Havoc, that's our show. Judging by the way Halloween Havoc went, I felt like Ole Anderson was one of those guys where he's like, I'm done being in the ring and all that shit. But clearly they needed more horsemen. They actually refer to them as horsemen in this match.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And that's where I finally put together that they must have beat the fuck out of Sting and like kicked him out of the group or some shit like that. Um, I don't think he's a bad. He's not done anything to like stand out to me in relation to Arn Anderson, who just does everything so smoothly and flawlessly, like textbook. But like I said, I don't have anything negative to say about him.
I don't either. I think
At
this
least
is.
yet. I've heard as a person he's kind of dog shit, but like I
Oh
don't know.
no. Like I think in general, like these four dudes just have great chemistry and great wrestling knowledge, like to be able to put on a match like this. So
Yeah, I mean, to like now that I'm kind of reading my notes about it, like I remember this match being like pretty good because I wrote here in my notes like despite 50 tag matches, this show has been really good. And I'm like remembering bits and pieces of this match now, and there was never really a part where I was wanting this match to end. There's a spot where I think Oli is actually dumb as fuck. Oh no, it wasn't Oli, it was Rick, which is on brand. So Rick does do something fucking stupid. It's later on, like let's see where was I at here?
Rick, was it when he rams his own head in the turnbuckle?
No, it's when he just lets Oli go to get away from him.
Oh, okay.
And at least Terry Funk is right there to point out how stupid as fuck that was.
Yeah. I thought you're
But
mentioning
Rick's
when Ole rams Rick Steiner in the corner, and then Rick he like stands up and he like rams his own head against it, and he's like, "It doesn't fucking hurt me," you know?
Yeah, he's no selling his head
His
again.
own
Like,
move, yeah.
yeah, cool. The heels are controlling. They control the match very well. That's pretty much what I expect from, the Andersons.
Hmm.
And then the Steiners awkwardly make a tag, and they just go with it. It was so cold. There was no build to it, and it got almost no reaction. And then Scott gets cut off and sent to the floor, where the actual heel starts, or
Oh,
the actual like
here
heat
we,
starts.
dude. I gotta mention this next part.
Okay.
Scott goes for a clothesline right here and absolutely eats the fucking uh post in the corner, bro. It's gotta hurt.
Yeah, he knocks the fuck out of that thing for sure.
Yeah. I'm sorry, you can
Because
continue.
they no, you're good. They spend the whole heat working over his arm until we get the first Frankensteiner.
Yep.
And then there's your actual hot tag. Barely, but at least there's a reaction.
Yeah, so
And then
Scott hits it,
good.
tags Rick. Rick then hits both Andersons. What they call the Steiner lines or something like that?
The Steiner lines. Yeah.
Like his clotheslines that he does. I mean, Rick Steiner is fucking crazy, bro. Like, I just the way he moves, and I don't think Brock is not his kid, right? I don't remember
No,
which
Braun Breaker's
Braun
his kid.
Breaker. Why would I say Brock? So Braun is his kid. Okay, that makes. I don't know why I say Brock. I think the B's just threw me off or something. But yeah, I mean
There's a lot of Brauns and shit.
the similarity is just fucking crazy. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, and so then the Andersons they try to do a double team move. And then basically oh my bad. So the Andersons what they try to do is it was like they try to get Ole Anderson, but I think he gets out of it, and then Rick gets him in like an inside cradle pin,
Yeah.
or he gets Rick in an inside cradle pin, or I'm
Yeah, Rick gets
flabbergasted.
him. He gets him with
Yeah,
it. No,
and
he thwarts the double team attempt in small packages Oli
yeah,
or inside cradle, same thing.
and he the Steiners win the match. I don't know what I'm doing with my notes right here, but yeah, the Steiners then win the match.
Yep.
Um,
And the Andersons aren't having that, much like the Freebirds in the last match, and they beat up Scott's arm and they leave.
yeah, I'm
So
gonna
not
go
a
with
terrible match. It's not my favorite match. It's kind of my. It's kind of sounds like my notes. It was my least favorite, right? Because
my
they
problem.
do that split several times. It's that awkward shit where they just stop and part and just stare at each other from across the ring. I hate that shit. In this match, they did it like 3 times.
My problem is that the non-title tag match, one of them, is 10 times better than both your tag team title
Yeah,
matches combined.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And
Like
if
it's not even
you're,
close.
what's the guy's name who owns it now? If you're him,
Ted Turner.
if you're not looking at the fucking
who's
Rock and Roll
who's the
Express and Midnight
booker now?
Express, you're just like, it's a
I'm
great
trying to
question.
like think of who the booker was at this point, like who actually was in control, because it's not going to be Ted Turner. Um,
Um,
I'm looking it up.
Jim Hurd.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, someone made a
Well,
definitive list of the main WCW bookers and when. So it was Jim Crockett
okay,
until 88, then Jim Hurd picked
yeah.
it up 88 to 92, and then
Uh-huh.
for only about a year or half a year, Kip Allen Frey, middle 1992, Bill Waltz, and then
Bill Watts, bro. That's
Bill
gonna be
Watts, my
some
bad.
strange shit.
Yeah, he only has
What
it for
what
about three
if
months.
what if throwing somebody over the top rope gets you DQ'd, bro? What if?
What? Uh, and then in '93, half of '93, Bill Shaw, and then the rest is Eric Bischoff.
Yeah. Well, Eric Bischoff plus the creative control of every fucking person he signs, and wait till Vince Russo gets that shit, brother. Wait until that's some fun years.
Who's Vince Russo?
And oh man, Vince Russo is he's like if you take a poll, you'll find that most people dislike him and his style of booking. I think he's one of the most interesting people, period, in wrestling to me. And it's because of how much he tries to break from the norm, even if it's in the wrong direction.
Yeah,
And if it's just way too outlandish and crazy and it's too on the nose about wrestling being like scripted and shit, you know.
Cameron, I
Um,
owe you the most sincere apology of all time right now.
for what?
I didn't scroll down. That was the executive VPs, the head
Yeah.
bookers, as follows.
Yeah, I saw something to conflict what you were saying, and
Yeah,
I was just gonna not worry about it because I
88 Jim
don't
Crockett, 89 George Scott, 90 there was
because
a
I see one where Ric Flair was the head booker of
There was a
WCW, and then
booking committee in 1990. It was Ric Flair, Jim Cornette,
yeah, who
Jim Ross, Kevin Sullivan, and Eddie Gilbert.
so Ric Flair is the head booker right now.
Right.
He'll be fired in March of '90,
Yeah, and
and then
Ole
Ole Anderson will
Anderson.
be
Yeah.
fired at the end of the year.
And then Dusty Rhodes comes back, and Dusty with Ole and Jim Ross.
Ole Anderson was fired as head booker of WCW after booking the promotion into losing what was reported to be $6.5 million for the year, despite only being in charge 7 months.
Dude,
God
how's
damn,
it
brother.
that bad? Yeah. And then I see like Kevin Nash gets it from 88 to 89. Kevin Sullivan gets it in 99. Vince
90, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Vince Russo, 99 uh, to 2000. Then Kevin Sullivan in 2000. And then Vince Russo again in 2000. So,
Those Kevin Sullivan months are crazy too. But those 2000 Vince Russo weeks is where it gets fucking nuts. All right.
I can't wait to see. I got to look up Vince Russo.
We need to keep this a track of this to see what minds are creating the shit we're looking at, because like the wrestling is gonna be good, for the most part. It's gonna be when WCW tries to out WWE. WWE is when it starts to get kind of rough. But that's kind of part of why I want to track,
Wait,
split halfway, because there's as many WCW and WWE shows in a year because we only have the big four. But we're close to getting like King of the Ring and shit like that too. So
I just read, 2 minutes of an article. Top 10 terrible Vince Russo ideas that WCW fans hated. I'm going to name
oh
off.
brother, you're spoiling it for yourself. But
I know.
go
I'm going
ahead
to name
before
off a
we get to
couple
this main
for you.
event. Okay.
On the pole matches.
Everything on a pole, and there's a specific episode of Nitro where in the year 2000 that I know I'm gonna make you watch, where we have Viagra on a pole.
What the fuck?
All right.
The
Yeah.
the San Francisco 49ers match on a pole. Um, and I'm gonna name two more. Ric Flair gets a heart attack,
Yes.
and WCW's JR parody. I guess JR goes to
Oh my
WWE.
God, Ed Ferrara, dude, Oklahoma. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's some bad shit. That is bad.
Yeah.
He thought Norman the Lunatic was offensive. What if we actively parody a guy that's like, suffering from Bell's palsy and shit?
That's
What if?
awful. That's awful, bro.
It's okay. We're gonna put the cruiserweight title on him.
Oh God. But we have an interview with Lex Luger after it. Um, he's they kind of frame it as we talked to Lex Luger, before the event started, and here's what he had to say. Um, basically, he's got a big case of the butterflies. He's worried. Would you say he's a face now?
Yes, absolutely.
And it's weird seeing Luger over the couple years, being this asshole. I'm not going to wrestle Ricky Steamboat.
I know, dude. He was so good as a heel.
Yeah, I hate that they had to make him turn face. Sucks.
Yeah, but at least his heel is Ric Flair, who I said this about the Midnights earlier. Heel Flair is prime fucking form. That's where he should be.
Yeah, and basically Luger's just saying like his thought process. It's all about his power slam and his torture rack that he has, and he makes a claim that no one has got out of the torture rack, and Flair is not going to be the one to get out of it tonight. So, and then after,
Are you ready
unless
for
you,
this match? Oh no. Was there a Flair promo?
there was,
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Flair promo, with woman.
With woman.
I hate women, bro. Get it.
I don't know what she does other than like, look
Be named
pretty
woman.
or whatever she does. Yeah, and just be named woman. Like, what more generic name could you give a woman in this role than woman?
Yeah, I don't know. Gordon's
I'm trying to
basically.
remember if she actually did anything in this match though.
Oh, she does.
I don't.
She does.
Okay, cool. I'll have to
Gordon.
read all my notes again.
He's saying that a lot of the people ringside are saying Flair, they're predicting that you're gonna lose, and Rick replies with when you've been the king of the sport for 10 years like me, you fear no man and pay attention to no one and don't really care what anyone else's opinion is but your own. Um, and then she goes, Flair's like, woman, what do you think of Lex Luger? And she replies with, Luger better get his engine started if he wants to have a chance with the Flair. And then they laugh about it, and yeah, I think
All right,
Gordon
cool. Thanks,
Solly.
woman.
Yeah, I think Gordon Solly's like, well, you better go gear up because the match is starting. And then Flair's like, when you're the world champion, and he starts to undo his robe. He's like, nothing can stand in your way. And then they go to the ring. So
It is just cool to see Ric Flair being a cocky asshole again.
was
I
this
I
match
just
an
feel like he
hour
has
long?
more. This match was 38 minutes.
Oh my God.
This
Sorry.
isn't as long as the Starrcade match. The Starrcade match was like 45, 50 minutes.
Wow.
And do you remember we really enjoyed that match?
Yeah,
In
but
fact, when that match happened, I walked away from that match saying it was one of the best matches I'd ever seen. Now, this wasn't Starrcade good, I felt, but this was still a pretty good match. I still thought this match was great. I've yet to see a Lex Luger match that I didn't love.
same with Ric Flair, unless you hated the
Same
Halloween
with
Havoc.
Ric Flair. I didn't hate Thunderdome. It wasn't my
Yeah.
favorite part of that show because that was Lex Luger and who did Lex Luger wrestle? Was it Steamboat that he wrestled that show? Or was it
Uh,
somebody else? Because I remember him being like my favorite part of Havoc.
don't remember.
No, he wrestled Pillman,
Brian Pillman. Yep. Hmm.
and it was great. I
God.
see a laughing emoji in my notes. I can't wait to.
All right. Well,
I can't wait to see what happens. What happened that made me write that. It's Flair's birthday, by the way.
it is.
Not today in time, but in at WrestleWar 90.
Also, they mentioned 10 years ago to the date, Ric Flair won his first World Heavyweight Championship in the same
That's awesome.
Greensboro, North Carolina arena. So, okay,
That's awesome.
I think they said he's won it 6 times in 10 years.
Yeah, he's 6-time champion right now, right?
Yeah, so you're telling me he's about to win this shit 10 more times?
Well, there's so when he gets to WWE, there's like one or two WWE title runs that count towards his 16. And then there's also some that WCW recognize that WWE won't recognize when he signs with them. And he considers himself to be like 21, 22-time world champion. It's some wins that WWE doesn't recognize. Like when he goes to Japan and drops a belt and then wins it back like the next day and comes back to America still with the belt. Like some of those aren't recognized or something like that, you know?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So when WCW actually ends, they'll be referring to him as a 15-time champion, I think. And then there's
Oh.
like, and then like I said, there's some WWE title runs that count towards his 16, and there's some of the WCW ones that didn't count. So the total in WWE lore becomes 16, and they're the only company in the world at the moment that can say world title justifiably. So what they say goes 16 times. But yes, Ric Flair's gonna win this belt a lot. Even when he's like not the top dude, he will find his way back to the top and win this belt a
Is it
lot.
is it like, okay, we're bored of this guy, we're gonna Hulk
No,
Hogan him?
I don't think so because there's like WCW goes under in 2001. And I think the last time he won a belt was when the belt was in 2000. So we got like maybe 9 or 10 more now, but I mean that's over 10 years, you know, and you would think that's averaging like one a year or so. But there's going to be plenty of times where the main focus is not just on Flair, and there's never going to be a moment where it's like, oh, they're giving Flair another fucking win that he doesn't need. It'll get to the points where you're like, dude, Flair's doing it. He won the belt again. That's awesome because guess who is going to be having the belt and doesn't fucking need it for most of those years? Hulk fucking Hogan.
I can't wait for the first Hogan Flair match. I
It's
mean,
actually Hogan's first match in the company.
okay, good. And it's soon, I would assume.
94.
Okay, so not too far out, I guess. Um,
Yeah, not like immediately in the future, but we got some time.
but yeah, so basically how this starts out, Sting comes out. They've been teasing him all night. He's on
Yeah,
his
he's here.
crutches. He's posing on the apron for the fans. Um, and then all of a sudden Lex Luger comes out. They have like a little, what's up, man, type moment, and then uh, Sting starts walking to the back, of course, because it's like, why is he gonna be out there when Hogan's there? Or not Hogan, but Flair. Sorry, God damn it, Hulk Hogan, get out of my head. Um, God, Flair's intro. Flair, I love Ric Flair's intro. It will never get old to me. Ric Flair
No,
in
no, never.
the pink shorts or whatever you want to, what are they called? Actually, I
The
know the word.
trunks.
Trunks, yeah. Pink trunks with his white hair is just, oh my God, he's amazing in 1990.
He's a star.
Yeah.
He's a star.
And I have different feelings for Ric Flair than I have feelings for Hulk Hogan because Ric Flair
Hmm.
actually fucking wrestles. All right,
Yes. Does he ever?
that's my hot take. I have seen, we have been watching WWF longer than WCW by about 3-ish years, and
Yeah.
I have seen less Ric Flair matches, but more better Ric Flair matches than Hulk Hogan matches.
Hmm. Yeah. The good Hogan matches were good because we were new to the podcast and weren't tired of Hogan yet, or Randy Savage was involved.
But by golly,
But Ric Flair.
if they would have chose Randy Savage as their main guy instead of Hogan, and Hogan was in the Savage role, it would be hard. Because if you're telling me if you replacing Hulk Hogan with Macho Man and all those Hulk Hogan main event matches, it would be I couldn't choose. I don't know what I would do.
Randy Savage probably could have had a great match with Zeus, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see that movie now. Like replace Hogan in the movie
Yeah.
with Savage. No holds barred.
Randy Savage is Rip Thomas.
Oh
Oh yeah, you should have
yeah.
stayed on your side of the bed, or maybe this wouldn't have happened. Yeah.
Did you take
I'm
my
not.
brother?
Randy Savage would 100% have fought Zeus in front of those kids.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, he had no
Zeus would have
problem.
died right then.
And that means you would have probably got
Uh
Elizabeth in the movie instead of that other girl, which would have been way more funny.
oh yeah, yeah. Well, then there would have been real tension.
Yeah, for real. Um, but yeah, hey, let's start it out. What do you think about this
All
match?
right. So I have a lot of notes because I pretty much was into this match from the get-go. Even just at the beginning, dude, it zooms in on the two of them face to face, and Nick Patrick's there running down the rules of the shit. The tension fucking builds. They talk trash to each other, and then they walk to the other side. And that alone, right there, gives this so much of a big fight feel.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah, I
like
think
this is important to both
Luger.
dudes.
I think Luger or Ric Flair's like, I'm the champion, like you're nothing, and Luger's like, not for
Yeah,
long, and then he walks away. It's just like Jesus, and the
that's
fans.
that's so cool.
It's just like the Luger chant. Oh my God.
Hmm. So when they first of all do a from okay, so one of the things that we really focus on when you start wrestling training is the lockup.
Hmm.
All right, it's such a simple thing, but it's so important because it's the first thing you see. And goddamn, if this wasn't a textbook collar and elbow lockup, these two bulls locked their fucking horns, and that's why you know right from the jump, this is gonna be intense. Even though we're gonna have the moments where Flair's he's bailing out because he's playing the mind games, he's doing it his way, he's wrestling his match, he's trying to get under Luger's skin, and then there's gonna be times where it's slower because Flair has the control and he knows it. But just this part right here, you know how intense this shit is and how important it is to both these dudes. Um, but they have such a great start where Flair is of course gonna out wrestle Luger, but Luger is gonna keep powering through. So that's why Flair sticks to the mind games, and despite being overpowered, he's gonna like take his time, like there's a great part. Luger takes the buckle hard, explodes out with a big clothesline, and Flair tries to bail, but Luger throws him over his shoulder, takes him right back in the ring. Flair takes his time, you know. The tension's building even more. He's waiting for his opening. This is work at its finest. And then so it's just, they build to this explosive sequence that leads to another huge gorilla press that gets a big ass reaction. They haven't really done much, but the crowd's there because they want to see big shit, and they'll get it here and there with like Luger getting the big power slams and stuff. They do the thing where Flair begs him off. He's like, "No, God, come on, please, please." But then we get a bear hug, like the fourth or fifth one on the show. But it's done differently, this bear hug, because Flair is like leaning all the way back onto the floor in this bear hug. And Luger's strong ass just lifts him right up. Let's see, huge hip toss that sends Flair he gives a huge hip toss, but he flies over the ropes trying to crossbody Flair. And that's where Flair kind of starts to take control. And what that means is chop, 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 chop. Flair chops the fuck out of this dude. But he goes back to that thing that is one of my favorite Ric Flair isms when he's a heel, is that he's got control, but he starts to feel himself a little too much, and he gets a little overconfident, you know, where he's got him, and he's like, "Yeah, that's right. Of course I've got you. I'm fucking Ric Flair. You're Lex Luger. You're not shit." And he starts to kind of take his focus down. He takes his eye off the ball, and that's how Luger starts to get comebacks and stuff. It makes me miss it. It made me realize how much I missed heel Ric Flair, you know.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And he keeps knocking Luger like off the apron, not letting him back in the ring. Let's see. Just in general, I think like the heat Flair puts on is so good. I don't know why the ref randomly at one point stops Luger from punching Flair, but that does not stop Flair from taking advantage of that shit. He starts dissecting the arm of Luger. He even does his like signature knee drop to the arm instead of the face because he's working on his arm.
What I wanted to jump in there.
Okay.
So when Luger flies out of the ring, Flair's like fighting him in and outside of the ring. And when he's distracted, this is the first time that woman steps in, and she's like, you know, hitting Luger like on the back and stuff, just like getting a couple chops and just walking away. But there's a bigger part that's gonna come up in a little bit. You're almost to it. That just makes it like even worse. And I wanted to point it out. So whenever you get there, I'll stop you in a second.
All right, cool. So Luger goozles Flair to fight back, and he like takes him to the corner. So he whips Flair over to the other corner, and Flair is just that classic little Flair shit where he flips over the corner, except he falls out and eats shit.
Yeah, the Flair flip is crazy. He does it twice, but the first one sucks.
Yeah.
The second one, not as bad, but yeah.
Because he just flies outside and just eats shit on the floor. It's so cool. Like it's like he tried to do the cool Flair thing and land on his feet to get control back, but he couldn't because he was thrown too hard. So like excellent little details like that, dude. It's small shit like that just sets this guy so far over the rest. They start to fight on the outside. Crowd's losing their shit. Luger starts to hulk up. Of course, in a way, you know, not like hulking up, but he starts to do the thing where baby faces don't feel pain anymore, and he gets Flair in the sleeper. He tries to suplex Luger out of the ring, but it ends up getting reversed, and Luger drags Flair to the post and slams his knee into it. Avenge Sting. Luger tries for his own figure four and fucks it up, so Flair just kind of rolls away. More Flair chops. Yeah, but I mean, it should be like Luger's not a submission guy. The only reason his main move is a submission is because you just have to be strong as fuck to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not like Luger's out here wrestling people and putting people in holds, so of course he'd fuck it up. Mm-hmm. And he's not quite at the level of a world champion like Flair, so he would be a little more likely to go for something that he shouldn't be doing, you know. And Flair, the ever like, you know, consummate professional, taking advantage of it.
Yep.
And there's more Flair chops to a big power slam for Luger for a close near fall. Crowd bought it big. Do you have something or?
Not yet. No, you're getting close there.
Luger actually reaches the state of Hulkamania, but his eye get poked and it shuts that shit right down. I wish WWF heels would take note of that shit. When the dudes just stop selling your shit. When Hogan's like, "Oh, you're not gonna hurt me, brother. Hit me again, fucker." Poke him in the eye.
When they
Just
were
poke him in the
outside,
fucking
I
eye.
did want to mention like Ric Flair and women are trying to leave, and Luger starts to carry him back into the ring, and
Hmm.
yeah, I'll take over here if you want me to.
Okay.
Uh,
No, good. You're good.
so so Ric Flair's trying to leave. Luger carries him back and everything. Luger's doing his no sell because Ric Flair like pulls him down and makes him choke on the rope there for a second. Um, and then we have like Sting. Sting comes out.
Yep.
Um, and so Flair sees it, and Flair spits on Sting right when he gets to the ringside. Uh, and so or Sting, he's like over the ropes and everything, and Sting, he's like looking at Luger, and I forgot exactly what he says, but it's basically just like, "Hey, wake the fuck up! Like, go kick his ass, do something. You can't
Yeah, he
lose
like
this."
grabs him and motivates him,
Yeah, and then he slaps him.
and it
It's
works.
okay. At any moment there, did you think that Sting was faking this injury?
Fuck no.
Really?
Not
Okay.
even for a second. Yeah.
I was thinking he
Sting
was
is a
gonna.
heel, dude. Nah.
I was thinking he was gonna fake it, and he was gonna hit him with the crutch when he was like, hunched over on the ropes right there, and I was like,
Oh
wow.
man, imagine.
Um,
Imagine a heel Sting joins this version of the Four Horsemen, not the babyface version he was kicked out of, I guess.
Lu- Luger, yeah, like it was all planned just to fucking embarrass Lex Luger would have been crazy. Uh,
Yeah, and they waited 38 minutes to do it.
Flair gets some hits on Luger, some no sells again from Lex. Lex does a crazy military press on Flair,
Hmm.
very high up. Um, and then Flair eventually he throws him to the corner, and Flair does his Flair flip over the corner rope.
Hmm.
Then Flair goes to the top rope, but Luger throws him off. Um, and then the referee is distracted um, by a woman because she gets on top of the apron. And here's where she is physically slapping
Hmm.
Lex Luger in the face, and the referee is not calling disqualification.
Yeah, it. I think the idea here was that like it's not necessarily hurting Luger, and the referee knows why she's doing it. She's trying to get Flair DQ'd so he can keep the belt, and the ref doesn't want a big match like that to end this way. So it's like I'm gonna let this go to not fuck over Luger. And they'll do stuff like that with some referees here and there, depending on how they want the finish to go. Um, what? Oh, okay. I have the laughing emoji. I found it. It was after, like you said, he sends Flair like flying off the top rope, and then there's the big bump feed where he ends up like lining Flair over the top rope. He suplexes him back in the ring, and then he calls for the torture rack like he's gonna do it, but then he just goes for a pin.
Oh, Luger?
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That was
And
my laugh emoji. I guess it
and
killed me a lot more
I
then than it
think
does right now.
that's
But
what leads up into
yeah, for her
the
getting involved,
woman.
yeah.
Yeah. And so Ric Flair sees this when he gets up, runs straight over there, and he knocks out the referee. So
Yeah,
then
the
it's
referee's
like,
like sandwiched.
yeah, it's like, oh shit, what's gonna happen now? Uh, so Luger suplexes Rick off the top rope, and pins him for about 30 seconds. You know,
Yeah, but no ref though.
nothing's going on. Yeah. Uh,
Pretty big here that they give Luger the visual pin on
yes,
Flair. He should have won. He should be the world champion and the US champion right now.
yes.
Pretty big to give him that.
Yeah, I mean they count to 10. The crowd's like antically like
Yeah.
screaming 1, 2, 3,
If there's one
10.
thing we know about the NWA crowd is these motherfuckers will count.
Yeah. Uh, Luger then puts Flair in a torture rack, but guess who's coming out to the ring, Cameron?
Well, it's got to be the other horseman.
It has to be. They come out there and they start grabbing on your boy Sting. Why, Sting?
Oh
Why did
man.
you come out? Was this
Yeah.
all worth it? They start choking out Sting,
I hope so.
and Luger sees it, immediately drops Flair, just like throws him off his back. Doesn't even give a
Yeah.
fuck. Um, he goes out to the outside the ring camera to save his buddy Sting. Heartbreaker. Here it comes. The
Yeah.
Anderson brothers again beating up on good old Lex Luger outside the ring. No DQ is being called, but as you mentioned, it's probably just a, you know, something like, hey,
Yeah.
just to, to get Ric Flair to win. Like, fuck this, just count him out
Yeah. I
instead.
think the official ruling was count out.
Yep, and the ref he gets back up, starts counting to 10, very fast, very very
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's like he also wanted to save Sting, I guess. I don't know.
yeah, but yeah, he counts out Lex Luger, and Ric Flair wins by countout.
I guess it's cool. I'll take the count out here because even though Flair's winning, Luger is your US champion
Yeah.
and he's been US champion for fucking ever now. So I can see why you don't want him to take pins, but at the same time, your world champion should be able to beat your number 2 champion.
Yeah, and also it's
Now
kind
they're
of like,
building Luger for something bigger, so clearly. So I guess I see why they're doing it. And it's on brand with Flair to keep the belt this way because he's a
exactly,
shithead heel
exactly.
who he doesn't care how he keeps the belt. All he needs to do is keep the belt. He can win if he wants to because he's fucking Ric Flair, but he doesn't care at the end of the day. He just wants to keep the belt.
I couldn't agree with you more, Cameron. I want to
Steiners
do that.
make the
Drop a
save.
little.
That's what,
I want to do that. Drop a little like hint. Like, am I gonna disagree with you? But I couldn't agree with you more. And also, in my opinion, I think Ric Flair would drop the title to make someone else look better right now than Hulk Hogan
yeah,
would.
sure, but I feel like they wanted to put the belt on Sting by now,
Yeah,
but he got
he
hurt.
got injured. Yeah, so the replacement came in. But yeah, 100% I think Sting would have won this match.
Yeah, it's like they had plans for Sting to win the belt here, but he got hurt. So whatever, let's let Lex Luger do it to avenge Sting. He won't win the belt, and that buys you time until Sting is healthy. You know, it gives you something else to do, and it also builds more heat for Flair for Sting to come back and kick his ass and take the belt from him. Like Sting coming back is a lot less of a big impact moment if Flair has already lost the belt by the time Sting gets back.
Hmm.
But despite that countout, great fucking match.
Yeah, I would agree. And I wouldn't have been mad if it was 10 more minutes.
No, no, it was 38. I could have done more. Flair is still a fucking demon, dude. There's nobody on his level. Now Luger was in prime form here. Like he was really good as well. But dude, Flair just every time I watch an NWA or WCW show, every time I walk away from it, just like, God damn, dude, Flair was so good back then. Him and Savage always had me saying that shit. But Flair is just like next level good, man.
And it's crazy. It is, you know how, well, I'm going to act like you don't know, but I know you do. You know how, like, sports people, there's obviously, like, the best person in the world. And, like,
Yeah,
and you got to think to yourself, like, why aren't these guys as good as him? That's how
yeah.
we think about Ric Flair. Why aren't
Right,
these
right.
other guys as good as him? They all do the same exact shit. Why is it fucking Kevin Sullivan going out there? They're the same age. Why aren't they doing the same shit Ric Flair's doing? It's just crazy how he's older, more experienced, I
It
guess, but it's like he is at his age, past his, I guess, peak form, if you want to call it that, and he's still the best
post
person
plane
there.
crash, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, post neck surgery, everything. Yeah.
Yeah, Ric Flair's he was just that good, dude. Uh, he might like the more I watch Ric Flair on these shows, he might have actually been the fucking greatest of all time, dude.
Yeah. And
He's
yeah.
definitely in 1990 as of this show the best in the world,
Yeah.
without a
Not
fucking
even not
doubt.
even close. Yeah.
Yeah, like sorry Savage is it's like as many levels as Savage is above the rest of the WWF roster. Ric Flair is just far and away fucking incredible and just the best
And
right now.
Savage's role right now in WWF has diminished his
It
ranking.
fucking has, dude. It really has. Okay.
Yeah,
So this was the best show of the 90s so far, I
yeah,
thought.
100%. Yeah, like right now, my top two wrestlers in the '90s is Ric Flair and Bad News Brown.
Yeah.
But okay, but yeah, what'd you think? I'll let you go first. Rating match. What'd you think?
I thought it was a fucking great show, man. And like I said, best of the 90s so far. But I mean, the competition was the Royal Rumble and main event. WrestleMania better fucking bring it. Because this wasn't even like their biggest show. This was just a WCW. This was a show. You know, this was a title defense for Ric Flair. They
Uh-huh.
wanted to make it have a big show feel, and it had it, but it's not like their, flagship show like WrestleMania. Um, the tag matches delivered, coming off of that terrible showing they had at Halloween Havoc. Midnight and Rock and Roll was without a doubt the best tag match I think I've ever seen in my life, let alone this podcast. Main event was fucking incredible. Street Fight served its purpose. US tag was good. The world tag was good as well. And we got to see Mick Foley and The Undertaker.
We added two
I give this
primetime guys to our repertoire now, so
absolutely. And I don't know what more we're going to get out of these guys in WCW before they show up in WWF. But, I'm at least interested to see. But I gave this show 4.5 out of 5. I don't know like really what in this show other than Norman the Lunatic being replaced with maybe somebody better for Cactus Jack to wrestle. And I didn't even hate the street fight. I think I like the street fight, to be honest with you. I'd have rather seen like maybe Mark Callis and Dan Spivey or Mark Callis and Sid Vicious or whatever. But it was a 5-minute street fight, so whatever. If this show had just had Ricky Steamboat somewhere, I think this would have been fucking perfect. But I think all the awards are gonna be pretty obvious. Match of the night is Rock and Roll Express versus Midnight Express. Even though the main event was phenomenal, but dude, that tag match might have changed my life. Performers Ric Flair, of course,
not
and
even
that's
close.
also just not
Not
even
even
close.
close.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the promo I'm giving to Jim Cornette because I thought that promo before their match was so good. It was very excellent. It's Jim Cornette doing what Jim Cornette does very well, and he also gets a moment because I loved him going at the referee wanting to fight him, and then he backed down from the referee that he instigated the fight with. And overall segment, I would probably honestly give it to the Chicago Street Fight because it had an Undertaker debut, and then it was just we wanted more Texas Tornado matches. These four beat the fuck out of each other, and then Doom came out, and more people beat more shit out of each other. So it's like as far as overall segment, I would have to give that, I guess, even though every match was fucking better than that match, honestly. Um, I loved this show. This was not only just the best of the 90s. This is one of my favorite shows we've watched. This is probably one of my favorite shows I've seen now. And it makes me really glad that we're doing this where I'm going back and watching all of this older wrestling that I might have missed over the years and stuff. Like I've never watched like early 90s WCW. And man, have I been missing out. Um, this show was awesome. And I even mentioned last week, I accidentally watched this too early. And I'm having to go off of the memory of me watching this shit 2 weeks ago, and it still is awesome in my memory right now. So that's really all I got for WrestleWar. It was just a fucking great show. And if you have not seen WrestleWar, please go out of your way to watch WrestleWar, especially if you love tag team wrestling, especially if you love Ric Flair. Watch this show.
And the rap at the beginning.
And the fucking rap at the beginning. Way better than all the Rumble shit.
Yeah.
Like this show blew Rumble out of the fucking water.
It's not even close. The Rumble finish is awful. Spoiler alert, if you listen to the last episode, Hulk Hogan wins. Who the fuck
Yeah,
cares?
LOL.
Who the fuck cares?
And now we get to look forward to a 14-match WrestleMania card that's probably going to be long as fuck.
3 hours and probably 58 minutes. But my rankings real quick.
All right, let's hear it.
So there is some things I didn't go 4.5. I went 4. I didn't want to. There's
Okay.
some things that aren't as good that does bring it down just a little bit. Like for example, I think I mentioned earlier, like the Flying Brian Z-Man Fabulous Freebirds, 24 minutes, kind of too long for me, but I still enjoyed the match pretty well. But the other thing that kind of made me mad is like you can't have a regular tag team match outperform every other tag team match with two of them being for a title, um, which good for them because that's how it should be. That's how you want to be. Like you want to go out there and be like, hey, let's just fucking tear the house down here. Um,
And they did.
yeah, they did. Uh, yeah, I mean, I mentioned it earlier. It was hard for me to choose uh, the best match, but I mean, I'm gonna have to agree with you. Like the tag team match is the best, probably the best tag team match that we've seen since the podcast. Right? I don't know if I can name or think of another tag team match that was better than that. Um,
I mean, I can maybe think of some that were close, but like I really enjoyed that
oh,
one
Mr. T, Hulk Hogan, Roddy Piper.
demolition. Yeah, demolition and the Heart Foundation that we had a while back was really good. But
Yeah,
even then, dude, and I don't even think that was better than the Rock and Roll or the Midnight Express versus the original Midnight Express.
yeah,
Like
honestly.
honestly, the wrestling's just better in WCW. It's like that's just what it is.
What would have made that match so much better was if uh Paulie Dangerously was the special fucking manager of the Rock and Roll Express. I don't know where he's at right now, but Paul Heyman, please come back. Or he's with the Samoan SWAT team last time we saw him, but we haven't seen them in a minute. Um,
Yeah, but Oliver Humperdinck was the last time we saw the
oh
Samoans.
yeah, you're right. Yeah. Um, the Road Warrior, they throw me off. So yeah, so the four star is where it's gonna get. Um, promo of the night, same thing. Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette's a fucking star in the '90s. Um, and if
Yes.
And if you piss off Jim Cornette, and I guess 2000s, I guess he could be an asshole. He probably is an asshole now. But 1990s Jim Cornette, he's gonna be an asshole to you, and I'm gonna agree with him. Jim Cornette could do whatever he wants now, and I'd probably be like, yeah, that's cool. Jim Cornette's doing it. I don't care. Um, but yeah, we have two great fucking wrestlers debut on here now that we're gonna see constantly now. We have Mick Foley and the fucking Undertaker. I mean, that can't. th- Like this night couldn't have been better. Like if they said, "Oh, here's Stone Cold Steve Austin," I'd be like, "Oh my god!" I don't know when he debuts, but Jesus, when I see that,
Yeah,
it's gonna be
he'll
amazing.
be stunning Steve Austin when we get him in WCW.
Stunning Steve. Oh man, like,
I'm
he's
trying.
just.
Uh let me see when he debuts in WCW. May 91. Huh.
Oh, let's go, bro. Dude, I cannot tell you how bad I have been a Stone Cold watcher. I cannot. I
Oh,
don't
dude,
know.
it's gonna be
I
great.
I don't remember any. I really can't
Landon,
tell you anything, bro.
we're gonna get some stunning Steve Austin versus Ricky Steamboat,
That's awesome.
isn't it? And it
That
happens a good bit, and they have pretty damn good chemistry, actually.
and I mean like this is gonna be like 26, 27-year-old Stone Cold Steve Austin,
Yeah, before his neck injury.
and like that's in like 2000s, right?
The neck injury is 97.
Mm.
Before, he was on top and like the fucking guy.
Yeah, because like after is when he really booms, right?
Yeah, he wins the belt in 98 and he pretty much just becomes legend status from the jump right then.
Yeah, but all in all, not bad at all. Please, best thing I've watched in the '90s so far. I can't wait for the Great American Bash. But next, what
Yeah, I
we're
think we
doing,
skipped Capital Combat,
yes,
but
we're gonna skip Capital Combat. Next, what
it's
we're
time to
gonna
go
do is
home.
we're gonna do WrestleMania 6. The only match I really know is the main event, of course, because they teased it out of oblivion to you. Um,
Yeah. Let's see. I mean, I'm trying to see like the marquee matches here because it's really just all about the ultimate challenge.
yeah.
Ultimate Warrior, the Intercontinental Champion challenging for the world title, just like this show, except, US title. Um, we have there are 14 matches, dude.
Oh my
We
god.
have Coco Beware versus Rick Martel, Demolition versus Colossal Connection, Hercules and Earthquake, Brutus Beefcake and Mr. Perfect, Roddy Piper and Bad News Brown,
That's what we need. That's a match.
Barbarian and Tito Santana. That'll be fun. Dusty Rose and Sapphire versus Randy Savage and Sherry. We get a Rockers tag match. We get some Jim Duggan, some Dino Bravo, Ted DiBiase versus Jake Roberts, Boss Man versus Akeem.
Now that's crazy.
Yeah,
Who's Slick with?
I mean, there's some Slick is with Akeem, so it makes me think Boss Man's turned babyface.
Mm,
But we'll see. I'm sure WrestleMania 6 is really fucking long.
322.
Jesus.
But yeah, that's it for us at WrestleWar 90 Wild Things. I just told Cameron the worst news of his life.
Hey, can I plug some stuff before we go?
Dude, plug everything.
All right. Well, first of all, if you're not already, you need to subscribe to WrestlePodia on all of our social stuff. Landon, where all are we on social media?
Yeah, Twitter. We're on Twitter. We're on TikTok, YouTube,
And
Apple
these are all just
Podcasts, at WrestlePodia. Yeah,
these are
we're
all
on
just
everything.
WrestlePodia.
Yep.
Excellent.
Clips. I post some clips on our TikTok. We always do the our predictions. I text Cameron. We do that. I post them on there. I post some clips of what we talk about. I post like 2 or 3 of those every week. Uh, and yeah, on every WrestlePodia on everything.
Okay. Well, great. And then furthermore, of course, since you're here because you love wrestling, well, check out some really good independent wrestling featuring myself with Pro South Wrestling. Every Friday night we stream live, 7:30 Central Time, because we're here in Alabama. And let me just say, we are the closest thing to old school ECW on the indie scene, especially around here. I promise you, you will enjoy it. And also, for those that like video games, I've recently gotten back into Twitch streaming and I'm having a blast. Jetstream Cam on Twitch. And if you like that, check out my other video game stuff that I do on YouTube with my friends, the Joblin Junction. Please help me and support on those. I'm trying to build those as much as I can because I really enjoy doing them and I want to see something grow out of that. I really enjoy all of these things that I just plugged, and I want to, build a nice little community here. Of all of us just enjoying each other and helping each other grow and have a great time through various forms of media, be it watching wrestling, listening to wrestling podcasts, or video games.
Yeah.
Just,
Also, Cameron just got out of a shark cage, so this is probably the
I
best.
just got out of a fucking
This is
shark
probably
cage,
the
dude.
best time to hop in and watch you. Also, you're
In the
the
in
Battle Rumble winner.
I won the Battle Rumble. I entered at number 1. But now I'm free from the evil clutches of Harley Haven and the Broken House, and of all people to be Pro South champion, Caden Newton, the other member of the Broken House that Harley currently manages. So we're on the road to Pro South's anniversary 16, and right now it's set. The main event is me versus Caden Newton for the Pro South championship. But furthermore,
And it's free
what
on
was I about to say,
YouTube,
Pro
which
South?
is crazy.
It is free on YouTube, and we have
That's
plenty
wild.
of great stuff that we also upload through the week, like Pro South Plus, featuring little small interviews with some of your favorite people. Sometimes it's me, sometimes it's other people, and also individual matches up through the week, so you can get just a small taste of it and see if you like it. Recently, what just happened was Ace's team won the big match to free me from the Broken House and let me out of the shark cage. And then the evil commission jackass ran in to tell us that he suspended Amy Haven's promoter license, and now the Alabama Athletic Commission has taken control of Pro South Wrestling, and who knows what the hell that means.
God damn it.
So can't wait to find out.
They always
real
do
quick
that.
about the Twitch thing though. If this goes up on time, right now we do plan to do another stream of this horror game we've been playing called Devour that we are loving right now. We plan to do that Halloween night. and that's sure to be a really fun time. Thank you, Landon, for letting me plug all that
Dude,
shit.
of
Thank you.
course. Yeah, this will be uploaded tomorrow at 7 p.m. Just right before you guys go on, probably, I think, tomorrow night, right? Or tonight. Sorry, it's already 1 o'clock in the morning.
Uh,
Or
yeah, I mean,
Thursday? It would be 13 or
Thursday
2.
night,
Thursday
Halloween is
night?
when
Yeah.
we'll stream, probably around like 9
Yeah,
East
go. If you
Central
don't
again.
watch it, you are an awful person. Go watch it. Like,
Not true. I mean, I'm sure you're a great person, and you can prove that you're a great person even if you miss it by checking out the VOD and stuff afterwards, or follow me on Twitch, and you can see whenever I go live, so you'll never have to risk missing it.
yeah, or you're an awful
But
person.
furthermore, you should subscribe to WrestlePodia on every form of social media. Follow us, subscribe to us, whatever you got to do.
Yeah,
Because I'm having a great time doing this, and I want everyone else to hear us having this great time.
yeah, or you're an awful person. All right. Yeah, that's good for us here.
Everyone's great, and I love everyone.
We'll see you at WrestleMania 6, and then a movie. We'll watch a movie after.